behind the glass in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison, and from his undisclosed location, he is the Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer. And I think he bought into the hype of last night's game, the Miz versus Clayton Kershaw. At least more than the Skeens game a couple of weeks ago. He is Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. Did you watch last night?
I did watch. I saw the beginning and missed a little bit, and then I saw he's the real deal. Gives up the homer right to start the game against Shohei and bounced back, and I thought embraced the moment. So I gave you a lot of grief. Was it 3 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago today was the Skeens game, yeah.
A Skeens game. This is a lot different. Like, both guys pitched, and obviously Kershaw is not Skeens at this point in his career, but he's a Hall of Famer. And the Brewers won both games, so it's not as if I'm just being a homer. This was much more intense. Now, again, I missed a lot of that Skeens game as I tried to watch it on tape delay. But Mizrowski is – there's just something different and special. And it's not just that he throws 102. That obviously helps. But there's an excitement with him that I don't remember another Milwaukee Brewers pitcher having. And I've been a Brewers fan for a long time. Teddy Higuera, Juan Nieves, Ben Sheets, Giovanni Gallardo. There have been a lot of really good pitchers that have come through. I think the only guy I could think of where I was as excited to watch was when they brought in CC Sabathia. Outside of that, I don't recall another time as a Brewers fan that you had must-see TV with a pitcher. And correct me if I'm wrong. You're a much more avid Brewer fan than I am on a daily basis. I enjoy it. I want them to win. I would argue, I think that, I know we're a Packers show, but I would think a Brewers championship would mean more to this state than another Packers World Championship, just because we've never done it. And when I look at all of this, I can't remember a time where it was, Miz is pitching, we got to dial in. Fans are showing up in droves. There is an excitement about him because sans the last game against the Mets, he has delivered every time he's been out, and it just looks like he's getting more and more confident. And that's why I think Brewers fans should be incredibly excited, and I think why Jeff Passan, when he joined us on Monday, is kind of saying, guys, this isn't going to be like this all the time. You're not going to have this staff, this club, take a big swing. And I understand why he said that, and I think I understand why Brewers fans feel that that's the way this team should go.
A lot to dive into from that opening statement, and a good one at that. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Your way into the show, 844-770-3776.
Matter of fact, Jesse, tell me who has been more hyped as a professional athlete, not college, as a professional athlete in the state of Wisconsin since 2000. Is there anybody?
Okay.
Because I don't want to be. I don't want to be a palm. I don't want a prisoner a moment. This thing, but I'm trying to think because Aaron Rodgers, not as a rookie.
No, Aaron
Jordan
Rodgers'
Love,
first
not
start,
as a rookie.
When Aaron Rodgers took over for Brett Favre, that Monday night game against the Vikings, you had to be ready to go to know what
Jesse,
that was going to look like.
I'm asking as a debut, as a rookie.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Aaron Rodgers won a rookie.
I guess true. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers taking over a few years into their careers. You're right. Different than taking over as a rookie. I understand. So you're saying specifically your rookie season, not your first year as a starter, not you waited for a couple of years on the bench and now it's your turn to take over. Giannis wouldn't be like that. Rodgers wouldn't be like that. Jordan Love wouldn't be like that. You're saying straight rookie seasons. I want to clarify that, right?
I just want to think back, and I'll even go back further because I'm starting to think since 2000, who's been a rookie? Giannis? Nobody. everybody was, okay, there's this gangly guy from Greece. I don't know how good he's going to be. And he didn't really emerge. He had to grow into what he is now.
It took 3 or 4 years for casual fans to know how to say his name. And that's us. Like
Glenn Big Dog Robinson back in the 90s. I mean, I was excited when he debuted as a rookie. But I'm not trying to prisoner a moment this. I'm literally just asking because I want to know. And then I start thinking about just must-see Wisconsin athletes. And pitching is easier because it's not every night. Like if this was Mike Trout, I don't know if I'd be every game. So it's probably unique, but in the fact of Milwaukee Brewers pitching and the excitement, he's probably the most heralded that we've had. I don't want to say this because it sounds crazy. Been around 48 years. This is probably the most excited you've been for a pitching debut that has turned into this in 48 years. I can't go back to Bob Feller. I can't even remember the old Milwaukee Braves days. But I can't recall that because I wasn't around. But what has been a bigger whoa than what we've seen the last 5 or 6 weeks?
So that's the question for you to weigh in on 844-770-3776, the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. You can also share it in the YouTube comments, seeing a few there. We'll get to those in just a moment. I want to talk about what you said about CC Sabathia because I totally agree. I felt this 2 weeks ago with the Skeens game, but now even more so. And I think part of why I feel that way is not only that he's lived up to the hype, not only that he's been dominant in the ways that the Miz has, but each start has progressively added, it feels like, more or at least similar stakes to what he's going into. Obviously, the debut against the Cardinals and the 5 no-hit innings. Following that up in Minnesota with 7 or a perfect game through 6 into the 7th inning. You had the start against Skeens at home against the Pirates in the pitching matchup there. Then playing against the Mets, the best team, one of the best teams in the National League, even though they were struggling when the Brewers caught them. And now playing the Dodgers and going up against Kershaw. His next start, if they keep him on where we think they will, if they don't give him a full 14-day break out of the All-Star break, it will probably be against the Dodgers again at Dodger Stadium. Like, it just keeps building every time that he's out on the mound, and every time outside of the Mets game, he's lived up to it. It's now to the point, and this is where I feel it's the same way as CC Sabathia. I was a kid when Ben Sheets was pitching. I knew he was good. There have been a bunch of other good pitchers that have come through, like Zach Greinke when the Brewers traded for him in 2011. Like, he was great. He's severely underrated, I think, in Brewers history. But it wasn't circle the day that guy's pitching. The minute he comes off the mound last night, I'm looking at when is the next time he's pitching. We don't know yet because of the All-Star break, but after the Mets game last week, when's the next time he's out there? After the Skeens game, when's the next time he's out there? It becomes appointment viewing or listening on the radio network or going to the game as he's sold out the stadium the last couple of games that he's pitched. Like, it has now caught that kind of mania, that frenzy for Brewers fans. It's only comparable to when CC Sabathia came here in 2008. You circled, when is CC Sabathia pitching next? I got to get to the stadium. I got to make sure I'm watching at home. I got to make sure if I have plans, I'm turning on the Brewers radio network and listening to it. That is the same level this is at now at the Miz, and I don't remember it ever being like that for an individual player outside of CC Sabathia.
Is there any athlete that right now, let's say there's a signing, a card shop signing, and you could pick Jesse Nelson is your dad. You guys are sports collectible cats. You can go down and Jordan Love, Miz. I'm not going to put Giannis in any conversation.
Yeah, Giannis is like disqualified.
Golden, and you put Golden. Who's going to have the longest line at that card shop?
You're putting Jordan Love at the table. Like, Jordan Love's going to have the longest. He's still the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, and he's still good enough to be a franchise quarterback. Like,
I agree, but I don't think it's the route that we think it is. The Packers will always rule the roost in this state, always. And it is rare that I would even broach this conversation. But I think Miz Mania might be hotter, especially as we sit here on June 9th. Now, if you talk to me in September, and if the Brewers are still in it, and Miz is rolling, then it's really something. But as we sit here right now, I mean, everything is kind of on a little hiatus. Jordan Love has been around now. He's going into, year 6, 7, whatever it is, year 7. This could be – I don't want to be all hype. But this cat is living up to it, and I think the big draw, obviously, is he throws gas on gas. But last night he was doing it with his curveball outside of the pitch to Shohei, and you just hope to continue. I love the quote, and I think it was McAlvey put it out there from Pat Murphy, your guy, about just getting started with mucus still on him. Basically, he doesn't even know what he's doing yet, and he's doing this. That's why I think we should all be excited. He has a chance to be one of the faces of baseball. That's where Miz is at right now, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic by saying that.
Do you believe, before we get to some of the responses from fans coming up next, before we get to Bryan Bulaga coming up at 9:30 talking Packers, do you believe stock for the Miz will ever be higher than it is today? Coming off of all of these legendary these first 5 games that he's pitched, or whatever it's been, great game on great game. The one trip up against the Mets follows it up with 12 strikeouts against the best lineup in baseball last night. 1 run on the Shohei Ohtani leadoff home run. Other than that, dominant on a national stage. I watched it on national TV last night. It was a massive game, and he stepped up and then some. Do you think his stock as a Major League Baseball player after these first 5 games and how much hype there is around him right now, do you think his stock will ever be higher than it is today?
Certainly. Why wouldn't it? If he goes out and does it again out in L.A., why would it not be higher than it is today?
Well, the question is, do you have the confidence that he'll do it out in L.A.? I do. But I do think, at some point he's going to pitch against the Cincinnati Reds, and he's going to go, 5 and give up 2 runs, and it's going to be an average start. And we're going to the stock will come down. The hype will come down at some point. You would think.
Jesse, stocks are one thing. You look for strong fundamentals that are going to continue to grow. They don't need to be rocket ships. You're just looking for strong fundamentals that are going to continue to get better and better. And you want where mundaneness is still really great. That's what you're talking about. I don't know if that's going to be Miz. It's too early to tell. There's venture capital. There's startups. He is definitely he is getting past the startup phase. Has he shown that month over month his earnings are going to continue to grow and grow? It's a very small sample size. I think the biggest risk that we have when you're asking about is this the highest is injury, because he's a long-levered, explosive, and stuff happens in Major League Baseball, especially with arms. We know that. But as we sit here today, you can't help but just be incredibly bullish on everything this kid's doing, and this trickles into the rest of your team. This trickles into the Peraltas, your bullpen, everybody, because that excitement builds, and all of a sudden everybody now is believing and jumping on. And that's a powerful thing. That's the quarterback effect that I always talk about, where you start getting the entire clubhouse and locker room to believe. Because when you have a guy that can do what he did last night against the big boy in the entire Major League Baseball, against a Hall of Fame pitcher, then all of a sudden you're like, well, if we can do that, why we can do anything. And that's pretty dang cool.
844-770-3776. The Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line is the Miz, the Wisconsin athlete with the most rookie hype of all time. Your responses already rolling in.
You can get an autograph right now from any Wisconsin sports personality, Wisconsin athlete.
Besides Giannis.
Giannis, I would always vote Giannis because he's just special. So you can
he's
exclude
lovable.
him.
Yeah.
Is there a Green Bay Packer that you'd rather have an autograph of right now than The Miz? It's The Miz, or you get to pick any Packer. That's your choice. Who you taking?
844-770-3776. I'm going to put that poll in the field from the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed. We'll see how that plays on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed. We've got
I still think Jordan Love will win. I do. But I think for the first time in forever, it's going to be closer than we think. When is the last time there's been a Brewer that you could even equate to with a starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers?
I think we're going to see a couple of those names on some of the responses that are rolling in, which we'll review next. Everybody's got Ms. Mania right now. Tomorrow will be a Pella-palooza at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin at the Brookfield location. We will be there.
Excited, and you stop in tomorrow, July 10th. You can go from 7 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. That is a long day down at the Pella Experience Center, but it's going to be awesome. You can see hosts from WTMJ, ESPN, and The Truth all live in the Pella showroom. Schedule your in-home consultation for a chance to win amazing prizes. Brewers tickets. Oh, those keep getting better and better. Giveaways from the season. A game-worn jersey. Badgers College Game Day tailgate opportunities. State Fair. Green Bay tickets, and much, much more. There are going to be winners chosen every 2 hours, so don't miss your chance to win $2,000 off your minimum purchase of $5,000 when you hold your appointment before July 31st. So if you don't have time to stop in, we get it. You can also schedule an appointment by calling Pella, or you can go to PellaWI.com on July 10th, and you will still be entered to win in those great raffle prizes. So tomorrow's a big day. Pop in, go on PellaWI.com. The earlier you enter, the more chances you're going to have to win throughout the day. So go ahead, jump on in. Going to be a fun day down in Brookfield with all of the GKB talent down there and all of those great prizes and that great deal that Pella always has going.
More about the Miz coming up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Siding Unlimited is your local family-owned and operated resource for remodeling your home. We specialize in replacing windows, siding, roofing, doors, and decks. I say specialize because that is who we send to your home. Our team is built around the experts in all fields. Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit the 5-time Pella Platinum Premier National Window Contractor of the Year winner at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Waukesha.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
The Bud Pavilion's free concert series Wednesday Night Live is a must this summer. This Wednesday, gates open at 6 with music from Generation Z starting at 7. Epic bands, unforgettable nights. It's Wednesday Night Live at the Bud Pavilion at State Fair Park with Generation Z.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. We have talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. It will not go away if you bury your head in the sand. The first meeting is free. Call now, 844-222-1192, or visit rightchoicetax.us.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just for you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch again today. Jason will be back tomorrow when we're at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield. He hedged again, by the way, today in his countdown of the top 20 most important Packers of 2025. We'll tell you who he hedged on when Bryan Bulaga joins us coming up next. But we are
Jesse, if you're down, let's say tomorrow at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield, I think you're coming, right?
I am coming. I heard there's free food. Yeah.
Okay, so there's food and there's raffle prizes, and I don't think there's a meat raffle, but there's a bunch of cool raffle items. And Miz and Jordan Love both come in. Whose autograph you get? You only get one.
So the poll is in the field from the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed. If given the opportunity to get one autograph right now, are you picking Brewers phenom Jacob Misiorowski or any current Packers player, not just Jordan Love? I'm
going Jordan Love because I don't know. I think if you're getting an autograph from a Packer, you're going to go Jordan Love. I think that's what most people are going to do.
And I don't look. You're putting me in a spot here now where I'm going to sound like a Debbie Downer, I think, a little bit, and I don't want to do that because I am living Ms. Mania as much as anybody. There's no guarantee here of only a handful of starts in that Jacob Misiorowski is going to sustain this level of play forever or that he's going to even be a Milwaukee Brewers player forever, especially given their track record of what great players tend to do leaving the organization.
That's 7 years down the road. Let's say he's got control for 7 years. Let's not... Come on.
But the fact that Jordan Love already has established what he has established as the Packers' starting quarterback, he has signed a long-term contract. He is expected to continue a rising level of play for a long time, succeeding Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre in the line of great Packers quarterbacks. I think you have to pick Jordan Love as the autograph or the guy that you want to go get. Yes, Hunter.
So there's another way you could look at it, though, Jesse, and that being The Miz with this hype right now, even if it falls off, you get his autograph, that's a fun niche autograph. I'm going to be able to find Jordan Love stuff. He's going to sign enough stuff, like that's not an issue. But you get a Miz autograph, and then you're telling your buddies when you're a bunch of guys being dudes just naming random players, you're like, yeah, I got a Miz autograph. Like, that's fun. So that's a good story with it.
You'd rather have a Jeremy Lin autograph than a Giannis autograph?
There's so many things that Giannis is autograph.
Great point.
Jeremy Lin, that's a funny story. Like there's something fun behind that.
That's dumb.
No.
I would much rather have a Giannis autograph. I'm not an autograph guy, but I'd much rather have a Giannis autograph. I'd much rather have a Jordan Love or a Aaron Rodgers. I have a Brett Favre.
All easy autographs to get.
They're not. Not when you're getting them in person. Does that answer your question, Tausch?
No. No, it doesn't. I don't know what I just listened to.
Early in the voting, Jeremy Lin somehow has worked his way into the conversation. Early in the polling, and again, we're only a handful of votes in. This just went up on the Wilde Tausch Twitter feed. The Miz is leading 75-25 over any current Packers player. That includes Jordan Love. 844-770-3776. We also asked, who are the rookies? I know Jen, Gabe, and Chewy dove deep into this morning as well on ESPN Milwaukee. Who are the rookies who have lived up to the same type of hype that The Miz has here early on in his career? On YouTube, some of the comments there, Eddie Lacy, Clay Matthews, Andrew Bogut as a number 1 overall pick for the Milwaukee Bucks.
No.
Not the same.
Clay, I agree with Clay.
Clay
he changed the way we played
right
defense,
away. Clay had an impact, right? He didn't wait every year or anything. Like it was right away helping get to that next level of play.
Eddie Lacy was a fantastic rookie too. Yes, no doubt.
Prince Fielder, someone chimes in with. Prince Fielder, when he came up. Ryan Braun, I would also add in.
Yeah.
The way that he debuted in San Diego and then continued it throughout that season. Ryan Braun was like the last one that came up in that big crop of young
that was such a fun
prospects.
summer.
Yeah, Corey Hart, Prince Fielder, Ricky Weeks, J.J. Hardy. Braun was kind of the culminating guy, and he was perceived to be the best of those.
You guys understand that this team in this summer have an opportunity to be more fun and better than that summer Hunter's talking about. Do we all understand that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just reminiscing, like I was in high school. That was just a fun time.
The good old days.
Yeah.
I think, and I saw a little bit of this last night in following along and checking Twitter occasionally. I get the sense that Brewers fans are excited, but almost already inevitability of, but what's going to happen in October? And I get it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to fan because that's just not – I mean, I will, but this is a fun team, and you don't know. The swoon could hit us anytime. We could lose guys. There's going to be some turnover. There's always big turnover when you're a small market team. Not every young player is going to hit. You're not going to have the same pit. All of those things can be true. But this is a really fun team, and when you get to the playoffs, I think one of the things that is always pretty evident, power arms do really well. It's the teams that have that power, the power arms and the power bullpen with the big velocity, that typically plays well in the postseason. We'll see if and when the Brewers get there, how that all shakes itself out. But I don't want this to be all – Jesse, you already started a little bit with your doomsday blanking negativity. I ain't here for your blanking negativity.
You set me up to say that because you made me compare it to getting Jordan Love's autograph. I'm not
setting you up to say anything. Speak your mind.
I am all for the hype around Miz Mania right now in Milwaukee. I love what's happening with the Miz every time. Appointment viewing, listening, watching every single time he pitches. I am all in on this. The only way that I was all in on anything before this was CC Sabathia as a regular season draw of any kind. Like, obviously, playoff games for any team are different. Packers games, I think, because they're once a week and because every game has mattered for 30 years, is a different scope. But talking in this realm, there has been one other thing like this as a Brewers fan in my lifetime, and it was when CC Sabathia came here in the summer of 2008, and we never thought there'd be anything like that again. And we've got it right now. We're living it. It's so fun that this guy can throw 12 strikeouts against the Dodgers. This loaded lineup gives up a leadoff home run to Shohei Ohtani, then puts up career-high 12 Ks. Like, shuts them down. And his emotion is showing as he's leaving them out. He's fired up when he gets a big out to end it. Like, I love this guy. As much as I love CC Sabathia in 2000, like, this has been an amazing month of Brewers baseball. I have loved every second of it. But if you're making me pick an autograph, I'm going to pick Jordan Love's autograph. That's all I'm saying because I don't know what the future holds for the Miz yet.
Okay. That's fine.
He does have to get better when he throws back-to-back of the same pitch. He struggled with that last night.
And also the walks can be a little bit, although 1 walk, 12 strikeouts, that looks pretty good control to me.
Yeah.
Bryan Bulaga is coming up next. We're going to switch to Packers conversation. Jason's listed the top 20 Packers, even though he has 4 guys over the last 2 spots that he's listed in his articles. We'll tell you who is on the number 12 line today. Get into some tackle talk. Bryan Bulaga is scheduled to appear coming up next. Tausch, those who were at American Family Field watching The Miz last night, I'm sure enjoyed an ice-cold Coors Light and sat back and watched a monumental performance.
A big game, and whether you're tailgating, pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, watching the Miz strike out 12, celebrating that big win after the game, and you just need a moment to chill. Crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. It's brewed with a 3-step cold process. Cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it is made to chill and make sure those mountains are baby blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. That's why it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company at Golden, Colorado.
Over to the Packers with Bryan Bulaga scheduled to appear next on Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Bryan Bulaga here for Surfside. Summer is heating up, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside iced tea and vodka or Surfside lemonade and vodka to break the heat. Made with real brewed tea and real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy no matter what your plans are this weekend. Look for the can with the sunset stripes, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. Looking to simplify your everyday banking? Our checking and savings accounts offer the tools you need, plus the friendly, Simply Local service you deserve. Enjoy competitive rates, 24/7 online and mobile banking, and real people ready to help right here in your community. Whether your checking balance is at midnight or stopping by one of our branches at noon, Great Midwest Bank has you covered with a variety of new and improved account options designed for your unique needs. Great Midwest Bank, Simply Local and member FDIC.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their Pull Tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins Pull Tab with a sub or sub-able purchase for a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pulltabs. 1 pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know it's not just a car, it also drives your children's dreams. So whether you're going to soccer practice, robotics club, or opening night in the school play, we help protect those dreams. Save up to 23% when you bundle auto and home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road or visit PellaWI.com today.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Fisco, Fisco, Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco, Fisco, Fisco.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by Neitzel and the Ad Council.
Bryan Bulaga on Wilde Tausch is brought to you by Surfside. Surfside iced tea and vodka and Surfside lemonade and vodka. It's light, refreshing, and has zero bubbles. It's perfect for a day on the golf course or a day at American Family Field. Cheers to Surfside.
This big city we're in, but when I go back home, I've got some famous friends. Yeah, I do.
I'm checking the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line, the YouTube comments. Nobody has said Bryan Bulaga's rookie performance matches that of The Miz or some of the most hyped in Wisconsin sports history. Feels like a miss maybe by some of our fans. Bryan Bulaga joins us now. It's Wednesday at 9:30 here on Wilde Tausch. Blue, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. We're talking rookies. Jacob Mizorowski stepping up with the Milwaukee Brewers in a legendary rookie performance. Who's the best rookie you played with in your Packers career?
Ooh, best rookie that I played with. Trying to think back. Best rookie. I mean, you know, that's the thing about Green Bay. Like rookie. I mean, guys don't make enormous impacts all the time as rookies. Like you have to. That's why people's expectations for rookies in Green Bay always kind of have to be a little bit like tempered, you know, because like they always don't play that huge of a role. I would say for me in my time, I mean, obviously Dave played a big role in his first year. I wouldn't say Dave played amazing, though, in his time as a rookie. I mean, I think even Dave would say that. I think Dave from year 1 to year 2, significant progress. But from a rookie, I think Elton played phenomenal as a rookie. If you look the way Elton played his rookie year at left guard, he played great. I'm trying to think of guys on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think Jair had a really good rookie year. And that's
Eddie Lacy came up. One of our fans texted in. Eddie Lacy was one of the options at the 2014 season. Was really solid for him, right?
Yeah. Eddie played really good his rookie season. Eddie had a really nice year. That was a standout year for him. Corey Linsley, that same year in 2014, was a stud in the second half of the season when he finally came back from injury and he started to start because Treader got hurt and then Corey came off the PUP list essentially the same time Treader got hurt and they almost like swapped and Corey played great. So, I mean, like there's a lot of guys you could talk about who's the best out of those. Hard to decipher. People are going to say Lacy because he scored the touchdowns, which is true. Eddie scored touchdowns and he was a beast. But there's a lot of honorable mentions. There's a lot of guys that played a good ball.
All right, Blue. So we are getting closer, and we talked last week about that 4th of July kind of being the. All right, after that, it's let's get to it. And I don't remember. Did you have conditioning tests when you first got to Green Bay where you had to do the gassers? You had to do 4 gassers, and if you didn't pass, you had to keep doing it? Because that always kept me up at night after that 4th of July, making sure we get that passed. Did you have that, or did we already move towards something else?
We moved towards something else. We didn't do that when I got there as a rookie. No. Yeah, we didn't have that. It was bloke. So he changed it to something different. So I never had that.
I always loved Bryan. I always loved the fact that, all right, here's the deal. Take 6 weeks off, come in, run gassers. I don't care how good a shape you're in. Hamstrings get completely tight, and then the next morning go out and do a double day where you got an 8 o'clock practice and a 2 o'clock practice for 2.5 hours, and then, I wonder why there's some soft tissue injuries. I never understood that concept, and I'm glad to see that the every team in the NFL, including the Packers, have gotten a lot wiser about that. All right, Bryan, what is your top thing you're looking for, or are really intrigued to find out as we're getting towards training camp day approaching?
About the team or about the
about the team, about Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, like
about the weather, about the I don't know.
There's I don't think we want to get into cloud seed. I don't think we want to get into weather and all. I don't think that unless you want to go there, Bryan, go for it.
I don't want to get into cloud seeding. Because I think we could go down that rabbit hole, and it's not a good rabbit hole.
How about dinosaurs coming back? We had a little discussion yesterday. The woolly mammoth is coming back. I think there's a small chance, that dinosaurs might be coming back. I don't think you want to go there either. So I was initially saying Packers storyline, but it's your segment. You go where you want to go.
Well, they bring back the dire wolf, so they could bring back the woolly mammoth.
A lot of stuff coming back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So they technically could do that if they really wanted to. From a Packers standpoint, what I'm looking forward to, there's a lot of good storylines, and I'm going to keep it in my lane, which I think is appropriate for me. It's the left tackle spot, because I really think that we didn't really find out much about who they're leaning to from who came out of this OTA process as the said favorite, or who they're leaning towards, out of the springs, which was predictable, right? Because the spring is what we called it in college, the season for a reason. That's kind of what spring ball is now, especially with what they're doing and how it's just jog through, essentially, is what they're doing now, if you can even call it a jog through. It doesn't even seem like it's that tempo. So it's hard to gauge on who is taking a step forward in the competition that is spring ball or OTAs or minicamp, whatever that is. So I think my attention is going to be on the left tackle job. And if you look at the offensive line, that is the position, or is the only position that there is a competition. Because if you look at this thing as a whole, left guard's done. If Elton gets his situation figured out, the center position
I was told
done.
that Zach Tom's position is up for grabs, even though now they're negotiating a new deal. That whole thing is.
Yeah, that was you and I kind of called that from the jump. That is the biggest. That could be the biggest joke that we heard.
Bryan, do you think that the right guard spot is pretty solidified, that there's not going to be, it's going to be Sean Ryan, and so it is really just going to be Morgan versus over there versus Walker over at left tackle?
I think so, and I'm not saying that Sean Ryan in some way, shape, or form won't be pushed by somebody. I would imagine that, the second round pick will probably get some snaps there at guard if he does get, unless they just keep him exclusively at tackle.
He hasn't even been signed yet. I don't think, is Belton signed?
He's not signed yet?
Jesse, has Belton signed with, I don't think he's signed.
I guess
there's some stuff with second round picks, Bryan, that they're trying to get fully guaranteed deals, and I think a lot of second-round picks throughout the NFL have not signed yet, and I think Belton's one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated saying he's not.
There you go.
Baby. Well, that's an interesting change of events. Is Golden signed?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Wait a second. The first round pick signed, but the second round pick's not signed.
Yeah, what's the deal with the second round picks, Tausch? Because you've said this before.
So here's what I understand, and again, take it for what it's worth. The first round picks are all getting fully guaranteed contracts. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to put language with their first round pick to basically say, if you get in trouble gets suspended, we can recoup some of your guaranteed money. And they're saying, no. Cincinnati just doing what Cincinnati does. The second-round picks in the past had gotten a certain amount guaranteed. More second-round picks are pushing for fully guaranteed 4-year contracts. And I think a lot of the league, not that there's any collusion within the NFL, we know that's not the case. There's a little pushback to say, no, we're not going to do that. And I think that's why there is a pretty substantial amount of second-round picks that have not signed. I think that's what's going on with Belton, but I'm sure Jason, when he comes back tomorrow, can fill us in more on that.
Good for the second-round picks. Hold strong.
Yeah, get your money.
In my opinion,
get your money.
Yeah, hold strong.
Yep.
Hold strong for the second-round picks. But that's interesting. But I think Sean Ryan and I don't know anything about the guys. I mean, obviously Jordan Morgan competed with Sean Ryan a little bit for that guard spot last year, and he got hurt and things like that. And this is with due respect to the guys that are behind Sean Ryan. I don't think there's a better option at the right guard spot. I just don't. I think Sean Ryan's pretty battle tested, and I think he's competed for that job over the last 3 years, and I think he's shown that he's earned that spot. And I think he's played well enough at that position to kind of make that his own. Now, listen, I get every year's new, and you go into camp and you win a job, and you have to perform well enough. And if you go into camp and you don't play well, then yeah, I mean, everyone's up for risk of losing their position. I don't see that happening to Sean Ryan. I think he seems like a pretty prideful individual, and he's kind of that that brawler type mentality that he's not going to allow that to happen. So yeah, I kind of see this being like a one position battle. I really do. And that's why when we were talking about this early on in OTAs, when Steno and LaFleur, they were opening this up to like a 3 or 4 person, battle in the offensive line of positions. It's like that's just not possible. You don't have the depth to turn this into a, every position is open for competition. That's just not possible in today's NFL. So it's going to be, the left tackle job. And obviously if Sheed wins this thing out, right, if it's as quick as last year too, which I don't think that's going to be the case this time around, right? Like, and this is just
that was like 2 days. That's still, Brian, what do you think happened last year with that? Because to me, that was the goofiest part of the whole deal. We're sitting there, we're up at Dream Drive. Oh, there's a little thing. And then all of a sudden, a day later, Sheed's our left tackle. I don't even know if they had pads on. And Jordan Morgan's going to battle Ryan for right guard. And we're all looking around like, just wait a second, wasn't he? And he came out, he's like, I want to be a left tackle. I was drafted to be a left tackle. And I don't even know if he ever took a rep at left tackle in a team setting last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it happened before.
We know.
Yeah, it's like it happened, like you said, before they even put pads on. Like, that's how fast it was. And it was like, what? It's like, wait a second. Like, I don't understand how you make that decision before like a week of camp even goes by. Like, I mean, so there's 2 things that come to mind. Like, and this. There's 2 things that come to mind. That Sheed was that good, right? Sheed was that good in camp at that point in time. Or Jordan Morgan really performed that bad. And those are the only 2 things that jump out to the page to me. Because I know you're going in camp, right? And there's a competition in camp. And it's clear as day, one guy is just that much better than the other guy. And the battle is done. It's just that clear, especially in offensive line play. There's no real like, okay, they're that close. This thing continues on. No, it's like this guy's way better than the other guy. This thing's done. It's over. Let's just call this thing now and let's see if he can compete somewhere else. Like, that had to be what it was. I don't think that's going to be the case this year because, like you've said in the past, and I agree with you completely, they're going to give Jordan Morgan way more opportunity to push this thing down the road in camp to continue to push Sheed. Like, I think they're going to give him more opportunity to win this job in camp. And listen, I hope for Jordan Morgan's sake that he's ready to compete for this job, right? Like, I mean, this is an opportunity. Like, you don't get tons of opportunities in the NFL, right? Like, I mean, you just don't. I get he was a first-round pick. That's an opportunity in its own. He got the opportunity last year. I get he got hurt. He's getting another one this year to compete for it again. If it doesn't work out this year and I get Sheed, probably, I mean, I never want to say never, but Green Bay won't pay him left tackle money to stay.
No,
say he gets the opportunity. Yeah, gets the opportunity next year to be the starting left tackle. There's another opportunity. What do you make of that? There's like 3 golden opportunities right there. It's what do you make of that, right? Once those 3 go by, you don't continue to get gifted opportunities in the NFL, where you got to start making the most out of those. So I hope for his sake that he makes the most out of these and he performs well, because it's only good for the team that he does. And I still today, I don't know anything about Jordan Morgan as a player. So I'm excited to see who he is as a player, as a left tackle, right? Like, you can only go based off what you've seen in very, very, very limited quantity of like preseason film where he's like barely in it, right? Like there isn't much. It's very limited. And I'm not there during training camp where you see some drills and things like that. And that's also very limited. So like, I want to see reps. Like I really do. I want to see some reps and how he does and against, actual ones from other teams and see how he competes and how he plays.
I am going to be fascinated if there is going to be a platoon, because I think the worst case scenario, and this sounds terrible, but Rasheed Walker played good football last year. There's obviously the Packers are hoping for more, but Jordan Morgan not having a spot this year and sitting a second year is not going to bode well. It's going to be a bad look for Goody, and I don't think the Green Bay Packers want any part of that. I would think at the worst, this is the battle I think Sheed is up against. There is going to be a lot of internal pressure for Jordan Morgan to play. Now, if it's not close, there's nothing you can't BS a locker room. Everybody watches that film, and if Jordan Morgan ain't getting it done and Sheed is, you better not platoon. But I'll be shocked if, at worst, there's not going to be some type of a platoon, even if it's 2 out of 3, or what we saw with Jordan playing guard when his shoulder was good last year. I just don't think there's going to be – I don't see any road going into this season that if Jordan Morgan is healthy, he is not getting reps. I don't see a road where they just have him on the bench for an entire season. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I think I've made my stance pretty clear on platooning. I think it's bad. I hate it. I think it's counterproductive to the group, and I think it's counterproductive to the offense. I don't think it's good for anybody. Like I just don't. I don't like how it doesn't. It doesn't help with continuity. I think it doesn't really help with the camaraderie of the group. I like going with the 5, and I like the 5 sticking together through it as much as humanly possible. I get things happen throughout a season. There's injuries that, I get that. Like, and if someone's not performing the way they should, then yes, you have to make a change, and I'm all for that change. But if you're just going to platoon, that does absolutely nothing for the group, because now you're removing someone out of that group that's performing just fine, just to remove them to put someone in to put him in, and that's not good for the group, because now you're putting him in next to a guy, the new signing, that's also trying to get used to playing with someone new, and now you're throwing him in next to someone else new, and now he's getting used to playing next to 2 new people throughout a game or throughout whatever, and that's difficult. It's difficult, and it's just I hate platooning, man. There's something to be said with going out with the same 5 week in, week out, every snap, and rolling with those guys, and that's why it's always at the end of every season. That's why people make such a big deal about it if the same 5 start week in and week out. Like, it's always like such a big deal if the same 5 guys start and play majority of the season together, because it's so rare, and it just doesn't happen that often because of injuries and things like that. So to intentionally just to platoon, I just see it. It sometimes has a negative side effect to it that you just don't need.
Usually we save the tackle talk portion of the conversation with Bryan Bulaga for second. We dove into it first here with Bryan Bulaga joining us on Wilde and Tausch. So coming up next, we'll switch our attention to the wide receivers, where Jason Wilde's countdown of the top 20 most important Packers of 2025 continues. Also, some interesting conversation from earlier in the week I want to get Blue's thoughts on. That's coming up next with Bryan Bulaga joining us on Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is back at the Bog. Tune in all day on July 15th for our ESPN Milwaukee crew having fun and hitting the links. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is sponsored by Carbless, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, Fifth Third Bank, Cider Heating, Plumbing and Electrical, Gruber Law Offices, Welke's Milwaukee Florist, and Jet Out. Join in on the fun July 15th on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The Bud Pavilion's free concert series Wednesday Night Live is a must this summer. This Wednesday, gates open at 6 with music from Generation Z starting at 7. Epic bands, unforgettable nights. It's Wednesday Night Live at the Bud Pavilion at State Fair Park with Generation Z.
This fall, the Sandman, Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend Tour.
I feel like we're very good friends now.
Fiserv Forum, October 5th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Joe. To what do we owe the honor?
Don't you have CEO-type things you need to be doing?
Or Joe might be here because he's been doing some CEO-type things that he thinks we should know about.
Bingo! You guessed it, Monica.
What do you need us to do, Joe?
Well, I'm here because I want to present an idea to you.
Cool. What is it?
I've been talking with finance companies and was able to make a deal for 18-month financing at 0% interest with a $750 or more purchase.
And your idea was to offer 18-month 0% financing to all of our customers?
It's subject to credit approval, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How long will we be able to do it?
From July 1st to July 31st.
0% will let people buy diamonds that were on their bucket list.
I know what I'm buying.
I'm going on a shopping spree. I'm going to have more jewelry than the Queen of England.
So you like the idea?
We don't like it. We love it.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ's Brandon Snide for Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Their homecoming festival begins July 10th in Oconomowoc with 2 stages, 22 bands, 4 days, and 55 exhibitors, food trucks, and a wide variety of those icy cold beverages. This family-friendly environment also includes bingo, line dancing, 6 acres of motorcycle parking, and so much more. The 122nd Homecoming Festival begins and ends at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson in Oconomowoc. Go to WISHD.com or find them on Facebook. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Famous friends you probably never heard of. But back in Rutherford County, our crowd is second to none. You might not know them here in this big city we're in.
Continue with Bryan Bulaga on Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch today with Jason Wilde on assignment. He is back tomorrow. And in fact, Bryan Bulaga is hosting with Jason Wilde this Friday on Wilde and Tausch with Tausch
fun.
and I stepping away for a day. So that'll be fun. And in the spirit of getting Bryan prepped for that, we're going to keep him for a third segment today. So just a quick one to throw at you here, Bryan, before we get to the wide receivers. Dale in Reedsburg on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Let's ask Bryan about his thoughts on taking his mother-in-law to the movies. So, for context, Bryan Bulaga, our producer today, Hunter Vaughn, shared on, what was that, Monday of this week?
Yeah, it was Monday.
Over the weekend, he and his mother-in-law, and only those two together, went to a movie, the F1 movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Is that something you've ever done, or do you find that to be a unique situation, Blue?
Okay. So considering now that my mother-in-law now lives in Florida, this could this is like now would be like a possibility for me now that she lives now down here in Florida. I don't want to, rip Hunter for anything that he does.
It's okay.
Yeah,
you can.
but I wouldn't be doing that. No, that's not something that wouldn't take place.
So I feel like Tausch did a nice job dancing around it. Jason did a nice job dancing around it. But Blue's just like, no, that's weird, man. What are you doing?
I did not say that's weird. I did not say that. I just said
He didn't say weird. He didn't say weird.
I did not say that.
Unique. It's unique.
I wouldn't be doing that.
I just think I'm husband of the year, having a great relationship with my mother-in-law, doing that, taking her to a movie she wanted to see. Like, I
you
think
should
I just
get
would,
kudos.
Yeah.
You should get kudos for that from your wife. There is absolutely no doubt that you should have unlimited rounds of golf this summer. For that, if you play golf.
Well, College Football 26 comes out tomorrow. I'm taking the day off to play that, so I think I'll get a few more hours out of that game then.
There it is.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm glad we got Bryan Bulaga's perspective on that. Thank you, Dale in Reedsburg, for the text on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. We will now kick off the 10 o'clock hour with Bryan Bulaga reviewing Jason Wilde's top 20 countdown to the most important Packers of 2025, examining more wide receivers. Wilde and Tausch is brought to you in part by Gruber Law Offices. Thanks to David Gruber and the team at Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 30 years and proud partner of Wilde and Tausch. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. The 10 o'clock hour continuing with Bryan Bulaga in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Modernizing business technology is critical for a positive impact on efficiency and reducing operating costs.
That's exactly what Tri-City National Bank found out when they called on James Imaging Systems. Listen to bank CIO Robert Prang.
We also went through a large retooling of our print environment, changing from where we had almost 200 printers.
All the way down to just 97 printers. That's managed print services from James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed Wisconsin business technology company.
So being able to work with a local company like James that has that flexibility with their staff and being able to deliver for us has given us the ability to make the right decisions for our organization.
Robert, would you recommend managed print services from James Imaging Systems?
Yes, in a heartbeat, I would recommend James.
Learn more at jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch today with Bryan Bulaga joining us for a special third segment today. Thanks for sticking around, Blue. Jason Wilde's countdown of the top 20 most important Packers is 8 spots in, and he's already up to 11 names. So we've got that going for us. Blue, you can give him some grief about that when you fill in with Jason hosting the show on Friday. Multiple slots have 2 names on them. We saw Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker earlier this week. We saw yesterday Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks in the number 13 slot. And today, following up after Wicks and Reed in the number 12 spot in Jason's countdown, which you can find all of the featured articles over at channel3000.com, where Jason writes, we see 2 more wide receivers, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, checking in at number 12 in Jason Wilde's countdown of the top 20 most important Packers of 2025. 2 guys who are both entering the final years of their current contracts, hoping for extensions or at least to get paid somewhere else after this season, but for different reasons have different things to prove this coming year. Blue, what do you think of Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs checking in at number 12 on Jason's list here today?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously both big players for this team, and I think it's appropriate that they're lumped together, right? I mean, and it obviously Watson, it's hard to place him certainly somewhere alone on the list because of the ACL injury and the unknown of when he's coming back. So I understand why Jason put him with Doubs. Obviously, they're both in a contract year, and the unknown of when Watson will be back. Obviously, Tauschen talked about this last week. We talked about it, and his timeline looks really good. He's looking good. From all accounts, it sounds like he's healing really well, which I'm very happy for him in that standpoint. But these are 2 major contributors, right, or expected to be, and especially when Watson gets back. What the future holds for them is the key parts of this, right? Or what could be the future of potentially as camp rolls on for, I would say, more when we start to see this wide receiver room develop per se, right? Like as we start to see as the reps start to get played out and who's getting reps where and who starts to get targets and when Golden and the 3rd round picks start to get their reps and who's getting more snaps, that's when things start to get interesting, right? Because not everyone can get the ball every single snap. Not everyone can be on the field all the time, right? So there's only so many receivers you can have in a room and keep them all happy, so to speak. I've been on teams in Green Bay where the receiver room was absolutely loaded, right? Like, and it was 5 deep, and you had a distributor in Aaron that could get them all the ball, and guys were all getting catches and all getting touches, but there was always games where great players weren't, getting 8 to 10 touches or targets a game, and not everyone was scoring touchdowns. And, I'm not saying guys were disgruntled, but not everyone is happy, right? And that's the way this thing goes.
I was just going to ask you, Blue, you're kind of saying there were guys disgruntled, because I mentioned this yesterday. There is always going to be kind of a pecking order in the receiver room, and you got certain guys, especially with Devontae when he emerged as the guy. I don't know if that was good overall, but you kind of understood where they were. This group, you mentioned your loaded room. We had loaded rooms. There was emerging guys. There's always a little consternation, but the big thing is when you have a quarterback like Aaron, you kind of had to keep it under the radar. It couldn't be where you're seeing these guys publicly take stuff out there. That room is the most complicated room on your team. I bet in every locker room across the 32 teams, that is the most complicated room to make sure you manage egos in the right way.
100%. And what makes that a very complicated room in this building, said the Green Bay Packers, is that the tight end room has one of the main targets in it in Tucker Kraft. And this is becoming a very run-oriented team in Jacobs. So a lot of touches are going to the guy in the backfield, which then cuts down the targets on the outside, where in my teams, we were a very, throw it team. So those guys on the outside knew they were getting the ball. So there were plenty of targets to go to the guys on the outside, regardless of how deep the room was, right? We had 5 guys in the room. They knew we were going to throw the ball probably 40 times a game, most likely like 40 to 45 times a game. There were going to be, opportunities for guys. That's not the case this year, or, you know what I mean? And then you got the tight end in there. He's going to get targets with, Tucker Kraft. So like the opportunities just are going to be not as bountiful, so to speak, this year. So you got to start looking at, how is this room going to shape out? So as camp goes along, who's going to emerge out of this thing? Like we know, Wicks and Reed, obviously they're still, they still got years on their contract. They're not going anywhere. Like those guys are not going anywhere. They are staying. They are going to be here. Like they're Green Bay Packers. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The 2 rookies, definitely going to be here. There's no doubt. They are staying here. There's no doubt. So there's 4. Watson coming back from an ACL. He's working back. Definitely going to be here. There's no doubt about that. Dobbs, I would imagine he's the guy that he's under contract. No years left on this thing. He's performing to find himself a new deal, whether it is here or elsewhere. This is the wild card for me, right? Because we know he's a guy that can get open, can catch a lot of balls. He is a favorite of Jordan Love in certain situations as a go-to receiver, so to speak. The thing is that there's been some odd things that have happened over the last year that we all have, it's pretty obvious what happened last year. And obviously the concussion thing last year, this is not even a football thing. This is just a personal thing for me. It concerns me just from a personal standpoint, right? Like you see a guy get 2 concussions in that close proximity and you see the way it affected him. That concerns me just in general, right? Like I don't care about football at that standpoint. It just concerns me for his health in general. And how is that going to affect him just running over the middle to catch a pass? Like that stuff, just from a guy, just guy to guy, just kind of you think about those things. So that wide receiver room is going to be very interesting. And then you talk about like Bo Melton, right? Like that's a guy that people love. People love him there. And how does that work itself out? Like there's certain things about that room that is very interesting this year, and how it's going to play itself out, and how's Goody and LaFleur and Steno and those guys going to sort this thing out? Because you can't keep, maybe you can't keep 8 receivers. You can't do it. It's just not, it's not feasible, because then you're chopping down another position that who are you chopping down? Like, what group are you going to chop down at? And it just doesn't make sense to do it. But those two guys, if they're obviously Watson's going to stay. He's not going anywhere. You keep Dobbs and Watson. If those two guys are on the team, and like I said, Watson's obviously going to be on the team, Dobbs has a huge role to play, because I think if he plays his best football, and obviously he's highly motivated, he's playing for a contract. That's what he's doing. He's playing to help the team and all that, but he's playing for a contract. People can look at it one way or another. This is a contract here. He's playing for a contract. He's highly motivated. If he's able to play his best ball, that is going to help Green Bay immensely. And we know he can do it. He is a talented player. He's got good hands. He runs good routes. And if he's able to play at a high level, that is going to help that room immensely. So it does not shock me that they're ranked where they're at, and they're ranked together, because it's a pivotal year for both of these guys, no matter which way you look at it, from coming back from an injury and from a contractual standpoint. Both big time players for this team.
Tausch, you're nodding in approval. And Jaden Reed is the guy that we talked about yesterday, that it's not necessarily the question of who will emerge this year, but like you mentioned, Bryan, who's going to be left out. And if the Packers are adjusting the offensive line, which in what appears to be addressing more of establishing a solid running attack for Josh Jacobs to avoid having all those yards after contact for the coming season, then if that's going to be a primary focus of the offense, and getting Tucker Kraft involved in the receiving game is going to be a primary focus of the offense, then who's going to be left on the field and who's going to be the odd man out? Jaden Reed is the one that probably has the biggest question mark, especially based on some of the metrics down the stretch of last season of playing time that he had on the field. Where do you think Jaden Reed stands in that room right now?
Yeah, and this is kind of this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's hard to tell right now where they all stand based on, like, we don't know the direction of what LaFleur's thinking from a trend standpoint of what personnel groupings that he's going to start favoring early on in camp or in season, until they all really get together and this thing starts to mold, right? Like, that's kind of what we'll start to see, and we won't start to see it. Like, I think if you start to pay attention, especially the guys on the ground like Jason and the beat guys that are there during these joint practices, if they're paying close enough attention, they'll start to get a feel for that during the joint sessions with the other teams, because that's when you'll start to see what personnel packages they're favoring against these other teams, because that's when you start to figure out what their comfort level is against opposing teams with, like, unscouted looks, essentially. Like, that's how you start to get a really good feel of what their comfort level is, like, just throwing out groups against what we don't know what we're going to get. Like, we have an idea of what defense they run. We don't know exactly what we're going to get, but this is what we trust. This is our go-to. This is what we love. And that's how you'll get an idea of, like, hey, this is what we may be seeing a lot of. And that's where you'll get your idea. And, like, we can talk about, they may favor Reed, they may favor Wicks or Dobb. Like, we could talk about that now. But we won't know that until, like, we start to see, like, mid-camp, because, like, that's when guys start to, like, emerge out of camp and things like that. They all play a role. They all have a role. LaFleur has shown that he can do different things with different guys, and they all have a niche within the offense, and they all can do certain things, which credits LaFleur's kind of creativity within things. But if you start going to 12 personnel, right, like, if you want to play a heavy 2 tight end set, or if you're going more like you want to put 2.
Well, if they do that, Jaden Reed is not. And this is where Gabe Nitel is going to join us later. He broke this down on the State of the Packers show with Jason and with Strophe down at Summerfest. They don't play him. He ain't out there.
Yeah.
And they are going to, Tucker Kraft, we've heard LaFleur and again, things can change. You don't draft Matthew Golden to sit him on the bench. You're going to find a role for him. I was always convinced that Jaden Reed was the most steady. Like after his rookie season, I was thinking he is the certain. You know his role, you know what he's going to do, and woo. And I think after how last season ended, where Wicks ended up getting more reps, and you can find stats to fit a narrative on anything, but Jaden Reed got shut out in a game. Or one catch. Again, I don't know. I haven't fact-checked that. But there was this whole push by Matt LaFleur to say, we're going to make sure we find ways to get Jaden Reed the ball. And it never happened. And then Wicks started taking 5 out of the last 6 games, more reps. I was just so convinced Jaden Reed was going to be one of those guys that emerged. And I think now there's more questions if that is going to be the case. I hope it is. I think he's a really good, valuable piece to this puzzle. But I don't know if we can for certain say that anymore, especially the fact that they grabbed Savion Williams in the 3rd round that does a lot of the same things that Jaden Reed did. There's just more questions than answers right now in that entire room than there was last offseason, which sounds crazy to say.
100%. Like, it is wild. Like, going into the camp last year, we were certain on this room. Like it couldn't have been more solid, certain on this room. Like it was probably the most bulletproof room that we've ever talked about ever. Like that I could ever remember. Besides, like some of the rooms that I was involved in with the wide receiver group, like it was about like this group is solid. They're young. Like it was everything. And then, going into the draft this year, it was, we need to address this. We should have got a veteran. We did this. And now we have all these guys, and we have options. We have youth. We have veterans guys. We have guys on remaining years of contracts. And now we're not sure who's going to play what role and who's going to be left out and who's going to be fighting for, reps or to even get on the field. And it's up to now the guys themselves, obviously, to separate themselves, but to the coaches to see where they're able to put guys and put them in advantageous situations to make plays and to showcase themselves really and to make themselves not just look good for obviously the team and to help their own case, but to help the team in general, right? Like how can they help the team? And that's going to be the part about this during camp, which is going to be another fun thing to kind of follow along is we can track reps and we can do that. Like I know Rob and Jason and everyone will count reps and that's fun to do. But counting reps during team periods, like this too, Tausch, like the team periods during Packers versus Packers is kind of that's kind of because like once I got a little bit older, I don't want to take any team reps. Like I would take like 3 team reps and I'd be like, all right, that's good. Like I remember like my first, like Steno, like LaFleur's first year. I remember like I'd go into every practice. I'd talk to Steno before practice. He'd pull out the team sheet, we'd look at the reps and he'd go, all right, you're going to take 1 rep here, 1 rep here, 1 rep here, and you're done. I'm like, oh, so like 3 out of the 7. He goes, yep, that's it. I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'd get 3 reps and I'd be done for that team period. But then when we got to the joint practices, he'd be like, yeah, you're taking every one. And that's kind of why I continue to say why they value the joint practices so much, because that's where LaFleur and these guys really value those reps. Like that's why I continue to say that, because that's their mindset on those. So the Packer versus Packer reps, yes, you're kicking the rust off, you're installing the offense, you're installing the defense, you're doing all these things, but you're not going to get a good feel for where they're at as a team and where they're feeling guys are at is until these other teams start to come into town or they're going to these other teams and you're seeing where guys are taking reps and those rep counts, because that's when you're going to start to feel where these coaches are at with their players.
Great conversation. Thanks for sticking around for the extra segment today, Bryan, to talk about it with us, especially since you'll get to do more of it on Friday without us here. So Tausch and I are taking Friday off. You're stepping in. We appreciate you doing that on Friday with Jason. We look forward to hearing you on Friday's show, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
Bryan Bulaga joining us on Wilde and Tausch. Great tackle talk, great wide receiver talk there. We're going to talk plenty more about what he said, as well as get further into Jason's countdown of the most important
What do we
passes.
actually know about this wide? What do we know about this wide receiver room right now?
That Christian Watson's
What do we know
hurt.
for sure?
Christian
What
Watson's
is for
hurt.
certain?
They have a lot of them.
We'll talk about that answer to that question coming up on the other side of the break. Tausch, first, though, you want to tell us about Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Oh, I do. I love the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Jesse just went down, checked out Bradshaw, said he was unbelievably funny.
He was good.
I have to take his word
Real
because he
good.
couldn't give me any fun examples of that, but it was great. It's great going down there. We have a couple of fun little placements that the Wilde and Tausch program put down at the Sportsbook down in Rockford. They also have 1,300 slot machines, 50 live table games, and a rock shop. The Hard Rock Live entertainment venue. 23,000 square feet of premium concert and event space, features more than 1,000 feet of LED screens to enhance the experience for up to 2,000 guests. Hard Rock Casino Rockford, a premier entertainment destination just off of I-90 in Rockford. Again, just right off the left-hand side of the road, about an hour from the greater Madison area location. Even with Jesse driving, it's still about an hour. And it's that big old purple and gold guitar. Take a look. Pull on in. You're going to have a great time at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
I was going to add in how the entertainment venue was great. Like, our seats were kind of near the back, but because of those LED screens, it's like you're right up in the front row. But I just took a lot of shrapnel during that conversation about Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Did you?
For no real reason. Yeah.
Kind of felt like a Jesse Nelson attack.
Had a
ad.
great show. Couldn't say anything good about Bradshaw other than he was great.
Well, I asked.
Even with Jesse
Again, it's
driving.
not. When someone is saying how great of a show it is or how funny it is, so well, what was the funniest part? And you're like, oh,
I told you what the funniest part. You said
he
what?
played the guitar.
No.
There's nobody can do what Bradshaw
You
does.
said what jokes did he have? He didn't go up there and tell knock jokes. He had funny interactions.
What's the deal
fans.
with peanuts? What's the deal with airline food?
What's the deal with the Packers wide receiver room? We'll talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards. They're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel. It's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road, or visit PellaWI.com today.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Jesse and Tausch today. Jason will be back tomorrow. We'll all be together at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield. Come on out, say hi. We're there 9 to noon. The entire event tomorrow goes from 7 until 6. The Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Brookfield Experience Center. Come on, check us out. Special thanks to Bryan Bulaga for sticking around and talking with us for a little bit extra time today. He was fantastic. The state of the wide receiver room, Tausch, is very interesting. As we discussed thoroughly yesterday about Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed when they appeared at number 13 in Jason's countdown of the 20 most important Packers of 2025. Now we get Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs checking in on the number 12 line. Christian Watson returning from injury. Romeo Doubs, Jason writes about this at channel3000.com. He appeared like he would be the guy that was in line for an extension at the end of last season going into this year until that random, going AWOL situation in early October that ended up kind of making everybody second guess how invested he is and what his future looks like.
If he can overcome that.
Do you think he, well, you tell me, you're a player, like in the locker room or with your coaches.
No, I don't think he can.
You can't, once you do that, there's no coming back.
That's what I think, yeah. I think it's going to be really tough. Now, if he goes out and has a great we all make mistakes in life. And then it comes back to how do you respond to it? It feels like he has responded about as well as you could. But it's a unique situation in the fact that I've never seen this happen. Never has happened. I can't think of another Green Bay Packer player that this has ever happened to. And when it comes down to a locker room and a team, trust is your most important tenet. I have to trust that my right guard is going to step the right way. I have to trust that my tight end will do this. I have to trust that the center is going to snap the football at the right time. The quarterback has to trust that you're going to be going to the guy you say you're going to be going to. They have to trust that the wide receiver will run the depth of the route where it's supposed to be because the ball has to come out, and if it's not, it's going to be intercepted. All of those things. But the main thing is just showing up. I have to trust that my guy's going to do everything in his power to be the best player on this team because we're all working towards that goal. And when that trust is breached, it is really difficult to get back. And I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying that there's no way that Romeo Doubs, but I'm telling you right now, any contract offer that gets put on his table, if it ever does, is going to be with that backdrop in mind. That you can bet your bottom dollar on. So I get it. I think the Romeo Doubs piece to this is really interesting. I think he is a really good player. I think he is going to be one of the receivers that has the opportunity to have a big season because I think he is going to be out on the field a bunch. But outside of that, there is just so many question marks. And if you're, I was just thinking as you were talking, if I had to put a futures wager at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford on a receiver to make a Pro Bowl from this group, the answer would be Matthew Golden. And I haven't even seen him play. But that would be my answer.
I agree. And that's probably not the place we want to be at this juncture with these receivers entering third year, fourth year. That is kind of crazy to think about. That's where we're at with this receiving group. We're going to talk more. I want to get to your question. What do we know about this receiver group? And I think the first things that I think of with these receivers are not necessarily positive things, and that's not a good sign either. We'll talk about that coming up next. We are dreaming fearlessly, whether it's for Matthew Golden reaching a Pro Bowl or for the potential still for some of the wide receivers in this Friends cast. We are dreaming fearlessly like American Family Insurance that they're going to have great seasons.
Indeed, a proud partner of Wilde Tausch, and for almost 100 years they have been committed to making life better with the right home and auto protection. Also, you're free to enjoy your dreams. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
The Receiver Hour continues. Coming up next, more Wilde and Tausch. Straight ahead, stick around.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Turn those hoop dreams into reality with Precision Sports, your one-stop shop in southeastern Wisconsin for Mega Slam, Ironclad, and Dominator basketball hoop systems. Installation of new or old hoops and completely customizable painted court lines. PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
Wrap up the first half of the season with the Brewers as they take on the Nationals July 11th through the 13th. Kick the weekend off with the Crew's annual celebration of black culture at the Negro Leagues tribute game on Friday the 11th. Then your next can't-miss giveaway arrives on Saturday the 12th when the first 25,000 fans will get a 90s throwback jersey presented by CBS 58. Grab your seats at Brewers.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
Workplace stress is now a leading cause of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce feeling it more than ever. You can't escape work, but you can take small steps to take care of yourself. A walk, some sun, a favorite song, and therapy. Ongoing support to build resilience for whatever your day throws at you. Balance is tough, but getting help shouldn't be. Visit BetterHelp.com/timeout today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
At Big Fish Contracting, we want every home project to be a good story worth sharing. That's why we as a team aim to exceed your expectations. We can improve any aspect of your home. Everything from a complex remodel to the essential roof, gutters, siding, and windows. Integrity, humility, and kindness are why we've grown in southeastern Wisconsin for the last 2 decades. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Let your car shine without spending a dime. Tsunami Express Car Wash is Milwaukee's fan favorite car wash for a next level clean. And right now, your first wash is free when you sign up online. That's our $25 top wash packed with gloss, protection, and free bonus perks like vacuums and mat cleaners. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, New Berlin, and Mount Pleasant, it's easier than ever to get a winning wash with Milwaukee's favorite car wash team. Get your first free wash today at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No more. I said go, baby, go, go, go.
So I want to put a little spin on the exercise that you posed, Tausch, because the question you suggested about the wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers was, what do we know about the wide receivers? And I think ultimately we could say we don't necessarily know a ton about the Packers wide receiver group entering training camp here in 2025. Here's what I want to ask you, because I know what my answers are to these things, or the things that I would say. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the names of the current Packers wide receivers? When I say Christian Watson, what is the first thing you think of?
I'd have to say injury.
Injury.
That's the first word.
Downfield threat, injury is the first, in tandem, that's what comes to mind when I say Christian Watson. Sure. When I say Romeo Doubs, first thing that comes to mind.
AWOL.
Same. Even though he's been arguably the most dependable receiver for 3 years, that is the first thing that comes to mind when we say Romeo Doubs. That's how bizarre that situation was in October of last year. First thing when I say Dontavian Wicks.
Inconsistent.
Drops would be what I say.
Yeah, drops.
That's the first. Any stat that comes up with Tay Wicks, and it's not about potential, it's about look at all the drops. Jaden Reed, first thing that comes to mind.
Slot.
Same. Speed in the slot is what I would say, which is the most positive thing of all the, of this entire exercise. And now I think if I say Bo Melton, you're either going to say 49ers playoff game or playing defense. That's the first thing that comes to mind now when I say Bo Melton. So
Deion. Yeah,
sure.
Sanders.
Deion Sanders. Yes, a natural Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders. Absolutely. So the most positive endorsement we have is for Jaden Reed being a speedy guy in the slot. And outside of that, the first thing you think of with these receivers is something negative. Even though they've been decent in their playing time when healthy on the field, when not skipping out on training or on practices in the middle of the season, going to play in your hometown. They've been generally good, but the first thing you think of are negative things when we play that exercise. And I'm sure many that are driving around or listening to us wherever you are right now, that those are the same things that we said that you think of first when you hear the names of these wide receivers. That's bad news to me. That's a bad sign, because when you say other names of good, great wide receivers around the league, a true number one, like Devontae Adams, first thing you think of isn't something bad. You think of something really good that he did. When you say a bunch of other names of talented wide receivers around the league, you think of good things first, not negative, like we just did in that exercise.
I don't know how many Packer players we would just go positive when we said it, though.
Josh Jacobs?
If you want to do this, I mean, Josh Jacobs, dog. Yeah, I would say physical. Yeah, I would say something positive there.
McKinney, for sure.
I think when you look at Xavier McKinney, I would for certainly say something positive. But when you look at last year through that lens, Malik Willis would get glowing reviews from me. Glowing reviews.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other guys I would give glowing reviews to.
Evan Williams would get a glowing review.
We act like it was not a bad, it was just, I think we expected, and the team kind of did the bare minimum of what we expected last year. That's kind of how I look at it. And when you have that, there isn't, you make the playoffs and you don't advance. That was the bare minimum. This year, that is not, I mean, the bar needs to raise off of where they're at. And I don't know how many other guys. Edgerrin Cooper, you could say, was inconsistent to start, but you could say, I would say, flashes of greatness.
Yeah, for sure.
Flashes of possibilities. I don't know how many other guys are you going to give a glowing review about when you do this same exercise we just did with Wyatt.
I don't know if it has to be glowing to say you're in a good spot, but like Tucker Kraft, you're going to say something positive, most likely.
Yes.
Elton Jenkins, we're going to say something positive. I think Kenny Clark, we're still going to say something. The first thing that comes to mind is positive on the defensive line, not negative.
I would say toe. His toe injury limited what he could do. That's what I'd say about last. He did not have a good season.
But he still played through all of it, and he didn't have a good season.
I
but
totally agree, but he had his least productive season as a pro when he's been this primary starter. He did.
Thinking in totality of what Kenny Clark has done as a Green Bay Packer, though, I still think it's a generally positive thing when you think of Kenny Clark first.
Oh, when you look at his career arc, no question, he is a Packer Hall of Famer. He is a great player. That's not what I'm asking. I said when you look at last season, how many guys, when we do the same exercise we just did on wideouts, and by the way, if we had done this last year at this time, that receiver room, it would have been almost all positive. Romeo Doubs would have been positive. Jaden Reed certainly would have been positive. Dontavion Wicks, I think you'd have been positive. Watson, you probably would have still went with injury prone. But that's my point. And every year stands on its own. And when I look at how last season played out, there was a lot of good stuff. A lot of really good things. But how many, we're set, yep. There's not a lot. And maybe that's because we're too critical, maybe too harsh. But in the grand scheme, I think last season, even though it was an 11-6, I think 11-6 and a first-round playoff loss to the defending to the now Super Bowl champions, I think we just expect more. And I like the fact that we as fans expect more. I don't want us to be sitting here saying, oh, it's cute and nice if we make the playoffs. I don't want us to turn into, and this will sound bad, but I don't want us to get the mindset of where we're at when we're talking about the Milwaukee Brewers with the Green Bay Packers. I want us as Brewers fans to raise our level to feel the same way as Packers. And is that realistic? Probably not. There are headwinds that the Brewers have to face that the Packers don't. I am well aware of that. But I also think Jeff Passan lit a little spur, and that's why that thing went as viral, or however you want to put it, as it did, because in essence he's saying, yeah, it's been 10 really good years, but what have you done when the money's on the table? That's how you're judged, fairly or unfairly.
What's the first thing you think of when I say UW Credit Union, Tausch?
Bucky.
Yeah,
great service.
Cute rascal.
Great community. Great partner in the community. And for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here forever. You proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. I joined UW Credit Union because I love keeping my banking local. great member first service, and I love great perks, but I also love Bucky, that cute little rascal. How do you say no to that face? And if you love Wisconsin, like I do, you can't pay with anything else. Fandom will make you do crazy things, but man, this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member today. Get your Bucky card like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
For many of you, when I say, what's the first thing you think of when I say Wilde Tausch trivia, you would say Wisconsin Geography Wednesday, our most popular trivia category, and that is the category today. Wisconsin Geography Wednesday, caller 12, in honor of where we are on Jason's countdown of the top 20 most important Packers of 2025. And yeah, good point, Hunter. Miz 12 strikeouts last night. That's the number of the day. 12. Caller 12 right now at 844-770-3776. Caller 12. 844-770-3776. Wisconsin Geography Wednesday on Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. That's next on Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is back at the Bog. Tune in all day July 15th for our ESPN Milwaukee crew having fun and hitting the links. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is sponsored by Marquette Athletics, PCI Construction, Discount Liquor, Loyal Family Renovations, The Jewelry Center, and Tony Wendorf and Associates. Join in on the fun July 15th on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Escape to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, where everything is better at the lake. Dive into endless outdoor activities, including boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on the serene Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind in the award-winning Calidora Spa. Enjoy gourmet meals at 1878 on the lake, casual bites at the Lookout Bar and Eatery, and sweet treats at the Isle of Capri Cafe. Explore Delavan Lake's stunning shores and historic landmarks from the comfort of their 76-foot cruise boat, the Lake Lawn Queen. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com.
Erica, it's good to see you.
How are things at our amazing Germantown location?
Absolutely fantastic.
We heard you had a bold idea. What is it?
We're celebrating our 45th year in business, so I think we should give away some natural diamonds.
Wow, that is a bold idea. How many and how big?
3/4 of a carat. 9 natural diamonds, each one clarity enhanced for maximum brilliance. 1 diamond for each store.
How should we mount them, Erica?
We'll give them away as diamond pendants.
So each of the 9 Kessler stores will have their own diamond pendant to give away?
Yeah, and all a person will have to do is to walk into a store and register to win.
Can a person travel to all 9 stores and register at each one?
Yeah, why not? And people will have from now until July 28th to register.
I'm in.
Me too.
It's unanimous, and people should bring in all their old jewelry so that we can professionally clean it for them for free.
That makes so much difference.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
The open road is calling, and the ride begins at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This July, you could burn rubber on a custom Harley-Davidson in the Fire Up Your Fantasy motorcycle giveaway. Play with your rewards card all July for entries. Thursday drawings for extra cash and reward play. Fire Up Your Fantasy, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance.
so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around.
At the risk of Jerry in the Prairie waiting on hold for an extra second, I do have a tennis question for Tausch before we play.
Oh, I like
Wilde
that.
and Tausch trivia. So Sinner and Shelton are on right now in a, I think this is a men's quarterfinal. Ben Shelton's the U.S. guy that everyone's kind of hopping on the bandwagon of, and Sinner's the number one ranked player in this tournament at Wimbledon. Why do they play tennis on grass? Like, they don't do that.
Why?
Yeah, they don't do that anywhere else except at Wimbledon, right? Or is this like...
No, they do. There's a couple of other clubs overseas that they do that in. It's easier on the body, and I think it's a different game. So tennis, everybody, well, not everybody, some players, it's big serve, forehand. Grass, typically in the past, and I can remember Boris Becker volleying and falling on the ground and diving around, and you want to see who the best on all these surfaces are because the ball responds differently. Who has the all-around game to do it? And it's unique. You don't see it in any other sport. You know, although there are turf teams and then there's the frozen tundra teams, there's teams that are better on certain surfaces. You build your team around it. Tennis is clay, it's slow. It's going to be more of a grinder. Hard court is quick. Grass is faster. So that's why they do it. And obviously there's a ton of history that goes into it, and it's the elegant. It's a little more elegant play than what you see in hard court.
The weirder thing to me is the fact that Sinner lost the French Open to Alcaraz, and then Sinner's still number one. Dude literally just lost the last time they played, and they didn't swap it all. Should be like college football. Got to update this when there's head-to-heads like that.
I don't know enough about tennis to have any comment on that. I just know
who's winning that. Is Sinner? I'm glad. Is Sinner winning?
Yeah, Sinner won the first set 7-6, and it's 3-3 in set number 2.
And he's got advantage with the serve.
Pretty good match here for these two going at it. I just know the grass looks bad. Like, all the grass is dying on the court.
Well, because a lot of people play, and then that changes the game, Jesse.
Yeah, the U.S. Open doesn't look like that. The French Open doesn't look like that. Like, it just looks bad on TV that all this dead grass is out there, and it's like, oh, this is the greatest tournament ever.
So let me get this straight, Jesse. You're literally opening this with, I don't know much about tennis, and then you're going to try and critique the sport that you don't know anything about. It's got to fit to exactly how you want it, even though you don't watch it and don't care about it at all.
Right now, I'm looking at it on TV, and it's supposed to be this is the Masters of tennis, Wimbledon, and it looks like my backyard where the pee spots are where Mo went and took a potty.
Except the people that actually watch tennis appreciate that, because then it changes the surface and how you have to play, because they start losing grip, and it gets better. It makes the game better.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia presented by Vortex Golf. Let's get into it with Jerry in the Prairie.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on.
Good morning, Jerry. You a tennis fan?
Not really.
Great. Wisconsin.
I'll tell you what, you're going to be less of a tennis fan after listening to Jesse's diatribe right there.
It looks bad. It looks bad on TV. The grass is dead. Wilde and Tausch Trivia.
I was thinking.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I was thinking the same thing as Jesse was saying. I thought, well, if there's brown spots all over, they got to keep their dogs off.
They should water it a little better. Yeah, treat it a little bit. Wilde and Tausch Trivia presented by Vortex Golf. It is Wisconsin Geography Wednesday. Jerry in the Prairie, an established veteran competitor of Wilde and Tausch Trivia. We'll see how he fares. Tausch, you asking any? You want me to ask all these? That's usually the drill here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with Geography Wednesday. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Jerry in the Prairie. Which Wisconsin city is home to sports teams which go by the nicknames Blizzard, Gamblers, and Rockers? Is that Green Bay, La Crosse, or Partyville? Because a Blizzard, a Gambler, and a Rocker sounds like a heck of a party.
I think it's Green Bay.
That is correct, and Jerry is on the board. Remember, Monday's trivia was very easy, and Tuesday's trivia was very difficult, so we're hoping that we found the Baby Bear just right trivia, easy, medium, and hard here today. Let's try with question number 2. Longitudinally, which of these Wisconsin cities is located farthest west? Farthest west, Jerry. Is it Osseo, Oconto Falls, or Oxford?
Oh, boy. I'm going to say, I think it's Osseo. Isn't that way over up by the...
He thinks it's Osseo. You going to lock that in? Final answer, Jerry?
Yep, locking in.
Tausch?
Yeah, it's Osseo.
You are correct. The
Right.
twin cities of Osseo Fairchild in our power rankings of Wisconsin twin cities. Question number 3 and a chance for a perfect day, Jerry in the Prairie. Which southern Wisconsin river serves as both the primary inflow and outflow for Lake Koshkonong?
Oh, that's the Rock River.
Oh, man. I think Jerry benefited from living where he does, because I don't think that would be an easy question for someone who lives in the southeastern part of the state. But Jerry, you nailed it, and a perfect 3 for 3 show. You didn't even need the answers for the final question. That is a perfect 4 entries in the drawing for the Vortex swag bag coming up on Friday to close out the week. Thanks for playing, Jerry. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Love you.
Jerry in the Prairie.
I love you guys.
Today's contestant of Wilde and Tausch Trivia. Tausch, your assessment of those questions.
I thought they're good. Obviously, Jerry's an old vet, man. And there should be
tough to get him past Jerry.
Yeah, there should be some benefit to being an old, savvy vet. Jerry did that.
Thanks, Jerry of the Prairie. Thanks, Vortex Golf. Wilde and Tausch Trivia is presented by Vortex Golf. Gabe Nitel scheduled to appear in the 11 o'clock hour of today's show, weighing in on The Miz and, of course, his commentary on Jaden Reed and the state of the Packers from the show at Summerfest with Jason Wilde and Alex Strofe over last weekend. Gabe Nitel scheduled to appear. We got a check of how our poll question is doing. The Miz or any Packers player? Who do you want an autograph from? We'll dive into that coming up in 2 minutes to start the 11 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
This fall, the Sandman, Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend Tour.
I feel like we're very good friends now.
Fiserv Forum, October 5th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
It's racing season. That means Road America in Elkhart Lake is the place to be. ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust and IndyCar driver Graham Rahal chat about what makes Road America special for drivers and fans.
What makes Road America so unique and different than anywhere else that you go?
I think it's the length of the straightaways. You know, in an IndyCar, there's 3 places on that racetrack that, in essence, you hit maximum velocity. There's no other track that we go to year-round where that's the case. And I think that's what the drivers all love about it. From a fans' perspective, you love it because it's easy to get around. You can see a lot of different places. You know, you can sit up on the hill watching the last corner, eat a brat, get some sweet corn, and see that side of it. But then, of course, you can also, go back by the Canada corner. So many different aspects, different areas to watch, to cheer on your favorite driver. I think that's what's so cool and unique about this place as well.
Be part of race day this summer at Road America. Visit roadamerica.com.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Brust and Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch, which will feature a visit from Gabe Nitel of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on ESPN Milwaukee, scheduled to appear coming up in our next segment. Jesse and Tausch today, Jason on assignment. He is back tomorrow when our band is back together at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin's Brookfield location. Stop on out all day long, but especially between 9 and noon when we're there. Say hi and take advantage of everything that Pella has going on tomorrow. Our poll question for the day, resetting our top story of the day, Jacob Mizorowski with an electrifying performance last night at American Family Field. 6 innings, 1 run. It was the leadoff home run hit by Shohei Ohtani. 12 strikeouts to 1 walk. He outduels Clayton Kershaw, and Miz stock continues to rise. So our poll question on the Wilde and Tausch Twitter feed at Wilde and Tausch, courtesy of Tausch. If given the opportunity to get one autograph right now, are you picking Brewers phenom Jacob Mizorowski or any current Packers player? That includes Jordan Love. Tausch, have you reviewed the voting before I tell you where it stands at this juncture?
I have not. No, I have not looked at it.
Where do you think this poll is?
I'm going to say it's like 60% Miz. That's what I would guess.
68% The Miz.
Yeah.
To 32% current Packers player.
You think that's just palming?
Well, do you think you're just palming? Because you're the one who said this originally. And I would have said at first yes, but now it looks like fans
voted
agree
for
with
Jordan.
you.
I would have voted for Jordan Love. So, no. I'm not palming. I think we're all excited. There's hype. There's just there's a lot of electricity about what's happening because it's unique and because he is just been shot out of a cannon, and it's just wow. It's exciting to watch, but there are we still want to, as Passon said on Monday, hey man, this was his 5th start. It's awesome. I want you to be excited about it. I'm going to be excited about it, but let's see a little bit more.
Jose Quintana goes on the mound for the Brewers today, trying to get the sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Brewers enter play today 2.5 games back of the Cubs for the top spot in the National League Central Division standings. Did you see this incredible stat from last night's game? I mean, there's a lot of Miz stats that we could throw at you, but the stat about the average velocity for the 4 Brewers pitchers, have you seen that one yet?
I have not, no.
All right, so this is from Kurt Hogg, who covers the Brewers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Brewers pitchers last night, Jacob Mizorowski, Jared Koenig, Abner Uribe, and Trevor McGill. Those were the 4 pitchers used last night. Averaged 99.34 miles per hour on their fastballs. So all 4 pitchers combined averaged 99.34 miles per hour on their fastballs. That's the highest average fastball velocity in any single game by a team in the pitch tracking era, which goes back to 2008. And it's hard to, pitchers have only started throwing faster. So it's hard to believe anyone before 2008 would have done better than the Brewers did. So basically the fastest throwing set of pitchers start to finish in any game in baseball history can be assumed was last night at American Family Field.
It's impressive, and I know, really good hitters can hit really good fastballs. But I thought last night some of the game that I watched, they're talking, the Rock and Levo were kind of discussing, because I actually watched the local broadcast because I respect the localness of things more than Jesse Bandwagon guy.
I respect the localness too. BA was on the call on TBS.
I love BA. BA's awesome.
That was Miz's national TV debut. I wanted to see what it sounded like. Felt like a playoff game watching it on TBS.
You don't count MLB Network as national TV?
Not when they're on MLB Network today, but I think it's going to be levering.
So Apple TV is national too, then, right?
Apple is, yeah. But no, MLB TV. A lot of times they just use the feeds from the local state. So I think Levering and Rock are going to have the call on MLB TV today. If they're the two calling the game, it's going to be that. It's not like they're bringing in Costas to do the game or whoever they bring in to do those.
Thank goodness.
Smuggy McGee.
Yeah. Sorry,
Smug Bob.
Again, you're throwing.
Anyways,
I don't remember. You were trying to make a point. You needed to derail your own point just to throw something at me for watching TBS last night.
And I don't even know what the heck. Now I know what I was thinking. So I thought one of the really interesting parts of this, and listen, there is nothing harder in athletics than to hit great pitching. That is the hardest job. You could say tennis. There's all of these sports are very difficult, no question, at the highest level. But trying to hit a 102-mile-an-hour fastball when you have a 92-mile-an-hour curveball, and then I don't know what he throws his changeup, but when you have that variance, and Rock was saying it's like a flutter of the eye, it's that quick. And then the camera zoomed in. It was really good. It was great work by the crew there. That, to me, when you can have that level of speed, power, and make it that much more difficult on hitters, you got to be a big boy hitter. And there are. Shohei showed it. But it just makes that margin of error so slim. And that's why you want these guys throwing that hard. Then the question is, how long can you do that? And then what do you do if you have that drop in velo? There's a lot of questions, but, man, you always take that and try and figure it out. And the beautiful part is for Miz, like Murph said last night, he's just getting started trying to figure it out. And you saw him messing around with the curveball, and he obviously gave up a couple. I know Mookie hit a bomb that just landed, just fell into the, was caught out in dead center. But, man, it's impressive, and the fact that the Brewers have this many big-time arms, again, I think goes back to the Matt Arnoldness of this and understanding it, seeing it, and then bringing it and letting the coaches work with it. It's been fun to watch.
Gabe Neitzel's been there for a couple of performances for the Miz at American Family Field, and he also was at the State of the Packers show at Summerfest on Saturday, where he shared his insights on Jaden Reed's status in the Packers offense. Tausch has wanted to talk to him all week. We will talk to him coming up next. But first, Tausch has to tell us about Quick Trip. Not many quick trips to the mound last night for the Brewers. They were making quick work of the Los Angeles Dodgers. We love our friends at Quick Trip.
Really nice job. This summer, are you ready to climb to the top? Well, we hope the Brewers are. We hope the Packers are. We hope all of our favorite teams are. And Quick Trip has a fun little deal here with the Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Every sip gets you closer to the summit. From now till August 17th, play every day for free right in the Quick Rewards app, and you can score bonus plays with every eligible item that you grab, like an ice-cold Pepsi, Bold Mountain Dew, hydrating Gatorade, or Propel, and many more. Pairs up with the hot food, and you can earn 2 bonus plays. Every week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, stacking higher and higher until one player reaches that top prize of $250,000. Get climbing now in the Quick Rewards app. Get it moving. And your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase is necessary. You can see everything at QuickTrip.com. You can also go ahead, get 99 cents a loaf for Quickery white bread. You got 73% lean ground beef for $2.99 a pound. Shredded hash browns, $1.09. All of the great stuff that Quick Trip has to offer, and they always have great deals. Don't forget to download the Quick Rewards app to take advantage of everything that Quick Trip has to offer. Quick Trip, we'll see you next time.
Gabe Nitel of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on ESPN Milwaukee joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. You really want a summer of entertainment?
My job to win a World Series is my job to provide a summer of entertainment.
Be careful what you wish for.
Struck him out looking. Ball game over. It's a grand slam. Dives. He caught it. Struck him out looking. Oh, my goodness. Christian Yelich. Mizorowski. Sal Freeling. Trevor McGill.
Everything Brew Crew lives right here. 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Baseball is back. Bryan Bulaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road, or visit PellaWI.com today.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Kevin Morat, Mentality founder here with a wake-up call. You're running on fumes, gentlemen. Just 1/3 of the free testosterone you need. That's why you're drained, defeated, and disgusted with your progress. But here's the truth. Mentality doctors specialize in epic comebacks. Our clients show an increase of 30% testosterone levels within the first month. We don't just treat men, we reignite lives. Just imagine the focus, energy, and drive being restored. Your comeback starts now. Don't wait. Make this your best year yet. Start today at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
At Tony Wendorf & Associates First Weber Real Estate Services, we believe in the human side of real estate. For us, it's faith, family, and friends in that order. We live that every single day. We move fast, negotiate with confidence, and communicate clearly so our clients win. We operate from a place of gratitude, having donated nearly $200,000 back to our community since 2020. You deserve a team that delivers a luxury experience no matter the price point. Tony Wendorf & Associates. Trusted knowledge, superior service. Contact us today at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
The open road is calling, and the ride begins at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This July, you could burn rubber on a custom Harley-Davidson in the Fire Up Your Fantasy motorcycle giveaway. Play with your rewards card all July for entries. Thursday drawings for extra cash and reward play. Fire up your fantasy. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
So even though Jason's not here today, I will speak for him for a moment. When Tausch says something around here that he wants to talk to somebody or he wants something, we usually do all we can to make it happen. Would you agree with that, old T? We take good care of you? No.
What do you want me to say?
He's not going to agree. Yeah. I want you to say, yeah, Jesse, you do.
I think
you guys do a great job. That'd be nice.
I do think you do a lot of really good things. You do. You don't book guests. That's just not one of the things you do.
So when
is that fair?
He got Passon this week.
That's not true at all. I booked you a guest when I wasn't even on the show.
Passon's great. You're right. Hunter booked him because he was on that.
He did not.
It comes back to who's on when you're there. Hunter booked him. Hunter called him to get him on the show, right? Jesse, I got to give you credit. Your Jeff Passon relationship is awesome, and we love having him on.
Perhaps I should have started this segment differently, come to think of it. Joining us now, someone who Tausch wanted to talk to earlier this week when he heard what he had to say on the State of the Packers special at Summerfest, which you can find on the Green and Gold Fix podcast on the ESPN Wisconsin app, Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. He was talking about Jaden Reed, and Tausch wants to talk to him about what he said about Jaden Reed. It is the host of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Gabe Nitel joins us on Wilde and Tausch. Gabe, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, boys. How are you?
I was better until I got slammed in that intro into the segment here from Tausch, so we got that going for
you.
No, it was a slam.
I don't know if he slammed you. I mean, I think you kind of walked in and set that one up for yourself, Jesse. I think you got no one to blame but yourself on this one.
You too? Really?
And I complimented you. It's the Jason Wilde. You slam and then compliment and then try to get info from that person. Gabe, you've been posting your videos on The Miz. Have you? And I know you guys talked a bunch about rookies and the debuts, but if you're right now sitting there at a golf course and The Miz and Jordan Love come up and you can get one autograph, who you going to have sign your golf ball?
I think I'm going with The Miz. I think, and again, if we're talking about value, I don't know. I mean, Jordan Love obviously has done some things, but I don't think there's ever been this much excitement for Jordan Love, has there? Like, there's been some anticipation. There's, hey, I hope this guy ends up to be pretty good. Hey, I think this guy's pretty good. Whereas Miz is doing things, and Jordan Love has been good. But when Jacob Mizgorowski is doing things that people in the 100-plus year history of Major League Baseball have never done before, these are the types of things he's doing through 5 starts in the big leagues. Like, that to me is, that's worth, hey, could you sign this for me, Miz?
Mm-hmm. Is this the most excited you've been as a Brewers fan in fill in the blank? How long?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about this. I mean, obviously when the Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder era, like when that all happened, that was pretty exciting because the Brewers at that point hadn't been very good, and there was this thought of, hey, there are these really good young players that are coming through. And I would throw Ricky Weeks in there just because he was the number 1 overall pick, and while he didn't have as good of a career as Braun and Fielder, there was still a lot of excitement when he made his way. So I would say since then, since the mid-2000s, when those guys, that group, that core of players were making their way, because – again, you knew they were coming. You were excited for it, and then they ended up delivering. Braun obviously won a Rookie of the Year, and I think Miz, as long as he keeps this up, he's going to be the National League Rookie of the Year as well. I mean, there was so much excitement when it happened because he just kept getting better and better in the minor leagues, throwing triple digits consistently down there. Okay, does that translate to the big leagues? And as we have seen through 5 starts, especially that Dodger lineup, like that lineup, one of the best lineups in all of baseball, to go through and strike them out 12 times yesterday, that's – everybody should be going to every Jacob Mizgorowski game they possibly can for the rest of the season.
Only comparable to CC Sabathia is what Tausch and I have kind of landed on here throughout this show today. That's the only other time I feel like you circle the start and you I got to see that guy. When's the next time he's on the mound?
Because you don't know what he's going to do. Hey, he could be something, and I know he didn't have the great start. And for him to bounce back after having his worst start in the majors against the Dodgers, striking out 12, going up against the future Hall of Famer in Kershaw, but you just don't know. So it's an event. It should be an event in Milwaukee every time the Miz pitches because something special could be happening on the mound, and you don't want to miss it. It was the same thing, to your point. It was the same thing for CC Sabathia. CC was on no-hit watch, I feel like, for the entire time he was in Milwaukee. When the second he started pitching in a Brewers uniform, it's like, oh, well, I mean, we got to go to the ballpark today. CC could throw a no-hitter. And while he never did and only got really close to one time, you saw something special every time that dude was on the mound.
Gabe, do you agree with what Jeff Passan said on our show on Monday, that the Brewers are just one big old bat away from being a legitimate World Series contender?
I kind of feel it. I mean, you take a look at the rotation now, and there's still more help that could be coming on the way if you know, they suffer any sort of injuries because of some of the other arm. I mean, Chad Patrick just got sent down. I know people didn't necessarily love him, but he still had 3.51 ERA for a rookie, so that's pretty good. You know, Nestor Cortez is still potentially coming. The bullpen is stacked. You have arms down there. Yeah, I would say one big-time bat. I mean, Christian Yelich has been fantastic, but if you can balance that out a little bit more with another, you know, really good stick in the middle of that lineup, and I'm talking about like a heavy hitter, some guy who's just a threat to hit a home run, because as much as I love the way the bottom of that lineup has been producing, whether it's been Durbin, Ortiz when he hasn't been in the doghouse with his manager. I mean, even Andrew Vaughn hitting a home run right away. If they had, you know, another big-time bat to kind of pair in the middle of that lineup with Churio and Yelich, that would be one of the more feared lineups in the National League, without a doubt.
Gabe Nitel, ESPN Milwaukee, joins us on Wilde and Tausch. Sorry, Tausch, take it from here.
All right, Gabe. So I thought your take on the Jaden Reed at the State of the Packers show with Jason and with Strophe down at the Summerfest on Saturday was really interesting. And then who was our caller yesterday that rebutted a little bit? I was literally like a pendulum yesterday thinking, oh, this is great. What a great point by Gabe. And then it swung back because, you know, stats can be misleading.
It was Keith and Heartland yesterday. Yeah.
Keith, stats can tell a narrative of what you want that stats to tell. And your point on the snap count and the 5 out of 6 games where Wicks ended up with more reps, and the Jaden Reed, you know, all of the stuff, that the snap percentage, 62%, comparing it to Jordan Addison and the other number 2 wide receivers and where that ranked. But I thought the point that Keith brought up yesterday was really good, and I don't know how much you looked into that as you were doing your notes for the show. But a lot of that was when they were running the football, and last year Green Bay ran the football a lot. Did you account for that, and did that change your mind at all if you kind of realized that a lot of that was from 2 tight end sets or 2 wideouts?
Yeah, I mean, he barely played. I mean, again, so Jaden Reed, for those who happen to miss it, 63% of the snaps. That's all Jaden Reed played last year. And he basically did not play when they went to just 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, which I'm anticipating more of this year. Are you not, with a healthy Luke Musgrave? And, oh, by the way, they went out and got Aaron Banks, who's an okay pass blocker, but he's a road grader. So I don't think the Packers, even though they ran the ball and were able to make that change a year ago and kind of shift and go, hey, we're not going to be a running team and be one of the few that actually runs it more than we pass it. Based on going out and getting Banks, based on the way they talk about Josh Jacobs, like, I don't think that that's suddenly going to change. And if they don't trust Jaden Reed out there in blocking situations, like, when are you going to get most of your play-action passing? Successful play-action passing? Probably when you're in 2 tight end sets. And if he's not going to be out there for those, like, clearly the coaching staff doesn't look at this guy as a potential star. They look at him as a gadget player. Seems too harsh, because I think he's better than just a gadget player, but he's almost someone they almost exclusively use out of the slot. And if you're going to be a top-end wide receiver in this league, you can't just be a slot guy. You have to be able to play on the outside. You have to be able to move around. And based on the way the Packers have used him the last 2 years, they don't view him that way. I mean, the fact that he's never played 80% of the snaps in any game tells me the Packers look, and for him to be as productive as he's been, playing as little snaps as he has, is also impressive, but also tells me that, hey, this coaching staff thinks that this guy has a ceiling because they only use him in a specific situation.
And I'll say this, I had not looked at it that way, and that's why I thought your point was so interesting. And then you compound that with the fact that they basically drafted a guy that does very similar things, at least that's the thought, in Savion Williams with their 3rd-round pick. That also gives pause to your point on how the coaches and that front office feels about Jaden Reed. Now, I know there's a lot of uncertainty and guys' contracts coming up, and you always want to get good value, and they could just really like Savion Williams and say he could, but he is looked at as a jet sweep guy, more of a slot guy. And did that factor into any of your hypothesizing about Jaden Reed and how this coaching staff feels about him?
Yeah, and again, especially when it comes to the Packers, Tausch, I look at, okay, what are they doing versus what are they saying? And I think that whether that's LaFleur talking, whether that's Brian Gutekunst talking, like, okay, how do they actually – so that's why I thought it was interesting when I started diving into those snap counts. And look, I mean, leading the team last year was Romeo Doubs at 77%, which, again, still doesn't even touch what the other number twos in the division were doing, and that goes to, the number of wide receivers they're trying to get a look for and kind of rotate guys in, like, obviously Dontavian Wicks and Christian Watson and things like that. But, yeah, if Savion Williams is going to be the jet sweep guy, and that's going to take touches away from Jaden Reed, and Matthew Golden might be taking snaps away from other guys, including Jaden Reed, because I think the ultimate hope is that Matthew Golden becomes this chess piece you can move around and play out of the slot, play on the outside, kind of like Devontae Adams used to when, back when he was here a handful of years ago. I think that's going to only lead to more opportunities being taken away from Jaden Reed. He hasn't stepped up and shown, hey, I can be this outside guy. I can beat press man coverage. Those are the things that teams have done to really slow him down. And, again, through 2 years, I just don't see what he is going to be able to do, especially now with the wide receiver room being more crowded, to separate himself if he's only being used in very specific situations. He's been good in those specific situations, but if the Packers run more two tight end sets, my guess is we're going to see a less productive year this year from Jaden Reed than we did last year.
Talking to Gabe Nitel, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on ESPN Milwaukee. Also hosted the State of the Packers show on Saturday at Summerfest with Jason Wilde and Alex Strofe, which you can find the full podcast of on the ESPN Wisconsin app and the Green and Gold Fix podcast feed. Gabe, Tausch and I did this little exercise in the 10 o'clock hour of our show today where we did a little word association. First thing you think of when you say all the different Packers wide receivers. If I just say, who do you think of most favorably in the Packers wide receiver room right now? Who do you have the most positive vibes about when you think of just on the surface, gut instinct? Who do you feel good about right now?
This might be the cop-out answer, but Matthew Golden, and a lot of that is because we haven't seen him, so we don't know what the warts are. But we've seen at least 2 years of everybody else, and we kind of know where the shortcomings are, right? Like, Dontavian Wicks, he can get open. Turns out catching the ball is kind of an important part of that position, so he needs to continue to work on that. Jaden Reed, I think of, he struggled against the man coverage. Romeo Doubs, well, he's good at catching in a crowd because he's always in a crowd, and Christian Watson right now is hurt. So I think the excitement and because of the physical tools that Golden possesses, the speed, he's got the agility. They trusted him on kick and punt returns, so he's got good moves in space. All of that is what you're looking for that true number one wide receiver. And I know Matt LaFleur, I barf at that, or whatever he said, when it came to having a number one wide receiver. But the fact of the matter is most effective offenses in this league have a guy that they're relying on play in and play out to be out there on the field. And for me, that's why I'm excited about Matthew Golden, because I think he can be that guy. I think everybody else, at least through their first minimum 2 years in the league, have shown enough holes of why they can't be a number one receiver, and maybe they're better suited being a 2 or a 3.
And last one for you, Gabe. What stood out most to you from hosting the State of the Packers show with Jason and Strofe on Saturday? Of all the let's say besides wide receiver, since that's been the heavy chunk of our conversation here. Besides wide receiver,
just wait. Are you going to ask Gabe for an example? Because, man, Wilde was so mad at me when I asked Gabe. He said Gabe was awesome. Gabe was so insightful. And I said, that's great. Give me an example. And he goes, what do you mean give me an example?
There were so many
what do you mean, what do I mean?
There was so much.
It's not that hard. So I don't want to put our guests in a tough spot where you ask for an example of anything. So, Gabe, is there any observation?
Yes.
Or if you don't have any, that's okay, too.
It's not what was Jason so good at on Saturday. It's what stood out most to you from the show is how I presented that. Yeah.
I think I feel better about the Packers cornerback situation than most other people, including Wilde and Strofe, because I know there's been some hand-wringing about, the whole Jair Alexander thing. And look, if I had my way, Jair Alexander would have been on this team. But clearly Gutekunst and LaFleur were done and they wanted to move on. But that was obviously the plan all along. And when you take a look at their top 3 cornerbacks, I think it's upgraded from where they were at the end of last season when Jair was out, because I think Nate Hobbs, based on the contract he got, is better than Eric Stokes, based on the contract that Eric Stokes eventually signed. So I at the end of the year last year, I didn't look at the cornerbacks as a problem. Could they have been a little bit better? Yeah, but I don't recall just going, oh, man, lost that game because of the corners. That's such a big issue right now for this team. I'm sure a lot of people like to have a little bit more depth because after you get past those top 3, there are a lot of question marks. But I'm guessing if you look around the league, after you get through the top 3 cornerbacks of just about any team, there's going to be a lot of question marks. Teams just need a lot of corners, and it's tough to find them. It's a really hard job to do. So I feel pretty good about where the Packers' corners sit right now. Again, if there's an injury, then there are more question marks, although they've got the safeties that they like to drop down into the slot the way they did with Javon Bullard last year. So maybe they feel a little bit better about their depth that way, or, the way that Isaiah Simmons was able to play in the slot at times in his past. So I feel better about their corners than I think most other people do. But based on the schedule, based on the division, well, I guess we'll find out if I'm wrong in my confidence in that position.
Gabe Nitel, ESPN Milwaukee, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m. You also hear him on ESPN Radio all the time on the nights and the weekends. Gabe, thanks so much. Appreciate the time, and hopefully you get to enjoy another Brewers victory like the rest of us hope to do so this afternoon.
Sweeping the Dodgers? How much fun does that sound like? That sounds like so much fun. They should probably just do that. Let's just do that.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Thanks, Gabe.
Real fun.
Hey, boys.
Gabe Nitel. Tausch, you ask, and we deliver for you. Gabe Nitel.
Yeah, I just love the fact
Jaden Reed.
Gabe thinks through his points, and obviously brought some really interesting thoughts in how you view things. I had never viewed Jaden Reed as maybe I have always looked at him as dependable, as somebody that coaches really appreciate, and I still think they do, but it always does come back to what you do, not what you say. And we hear all this stuff. The fact that he has played in his few of snaps, there are reasons for that. But is he kind of, pigeonholed a little bit? I don't know. But I do know this. There is going to be fierce competition for reps. And with the emergence of Tucker Kraft in this running game, it's going to get tougher and tougher if you can't do everything. And maybe this was the push to say, we need more from you in the run game. I don't know what his blocking grades are. I have not delved into that. But I would guess if you're not out there on run plays, it's because you're not as good as the Heaths and the other guys, and everybody's got to find their role. But it's going to be tougher and tougher to get reps. If you're going to start seeing more 12 personnel with 2 backs or with 2 tight ends, it's going to be more and more difficult to get out on the field. And if you're not on the field, you're not going to produce. And if you don't produce and then you have Drew Rosenhaus go in, it just becomes one big goofy cycle.
Hunter Vaughn takes over Whoa Nelly for the final time this week. He's had an interesting week in this segment. We'll see what he has in store for us next. Hunter takes over Whoa Nelly. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It's Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch. Upgrade your industrial supply services with Lakeland Supply, your trusted ISO-certified partner for custom packaging, shipping supplies, janitorial, and safety supply solutions. With over 40 years of industry excellence, Lakeland Supply is a proven one-stop source with over 95% of their products made in the U.S., and they treat their customers like family. Personalized service with a national reach. That's what Lakeland Supply does. Visit LakelandSupply.com to discover how they can make your business better.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
When you look at the opportunity cost for Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears organization, hell yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. Fair or not, it doesn't matter. Like, the perception is the reality in the entertainment business. The perception is the reality in the NFL. Caleb Williams' perception is that he ain't Jaden Daniels and he ain't C.J. Stroud.
Correct.
Right? We're talking about the talent of Caleb Williams. What did I say about talking about talent? That just means we can't talk about production. It was very underwhelming what we got from Caleb Williams last year. About the best thing that he did is not throw interceptions, but he didn't have a hell of a lot of touchdowns that he threw, and he took a lot of sacks that were unnecessary. So Caleb Williams has got to make a quantum leap in year 2 in order to validate the Chicago Bears' decision to go with him above all of the other options that they could have had over the last couple of years.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie. This grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, I mean, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Veterans, have you explored your benefits lately? The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs stands ready to serve Wisconsin veterans, their families, and their survivors. With our partners like your local county veteran service officer, we can help access the benefits you've earned and the support you need. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's wisvets.com. Message sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wilde and Tausch back with you. Jesse and Tausch today. Jason rejoins us tomorrow after a couple of well-deserved days off. Continues the writing at channel3000.com, the top 20 most important Packers of 2025. Check out the latest entry, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, available at channel3000.com. Let's now turn the show over to Hunter Vaughn for the final time this week. He leads us in Whoa, Hunter.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocco's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
All right, guys, I don't have any stories about going to dinner or movies with my mother-in-law anymore.
Oh,
I know. I'm sorry. But I saw this on Twitter, and even though it's my Dallas Cowboys' biggest rival, really happy about this for the Washington Commanders. I've got the image up on the video stream right now, but they're going from the weird like gradient numbers and the single stripe helmet back to basically the old Washington Redskins color scheme and uniform, just with the block W on it now. So I don't know about you guys, but going back to the old school look is the right move for Washington, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'll be honest with you. I just don't get that excited about uniform stuff. It's just not.
You're not a uniform guy?
No, I'm not. I think it looks better, and I do think like the powder blues with the old San Diego Chargers still the best jersey in my opinion. I think when you start getting all this, listen, man, I'm getting old. I get it. It's not for me. All this the organization of uniforms, I don't like it. But you know who does? Kids, players, fans, money making. So I ain't going to hate on it. I get it. Doesn't mean I had to like it. I could give two rips about it, but if I had to pick, yeah, I'd go with the old school on this.
I guess my only thought on it looks good. My only thought on it is I thought they were intentionally trying to distance themselves from the old look of the franchise. I didn't think they wanted to go back to anything that they had done before. So that's the only thing that surprises me about this from them. Looks good. I just thought they were trying to, rebrand, not rely on the nostalgia.
My guess is, like Tausch said, with the money making, they weren't making as much money on the merch and the jersey sales as they had hoped. So go back to it. Now people will buy these current ones.
My dad is a very wise man. He once was an usher at American Family Field. I don't know if you knew that. He pointed out to me how the Brewers, and then I've noticed it with sports franchises in many of the other sports, and not the traditional, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Packers don't do a lot with this, but the teams that are up and coming, the Brewers have done this, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Commanders you see here. When a team goes or starts to play well and kind of has this resurgence, and suddenly there's more fans who are hopping on the bandwagon and want to buy the merchandise, and Jaden Daniels is selling jerseys, and everybody's got their Terry McLaurin from the last couple of years. Then they rebrand right in the middle of that success. And the Commanders, I wonder if they had this planned for a few years from now, and they decided to expedite the process since they got so good and made it to the NFC Championship last year. They said, well, let's sell some more merchandise now. Let's boost those sales this year. People are, buying their stuff. They just bought up all those jerseys and the merch last year. Now let's change it up a little bit. Then everybody's going to go buy it again.
Probably. Oh, that's just.
Whoa, Nelly!
Watch for that. Watch the next time. Who's going to do it? The Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh.
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays have had the same logo for a while. And remember, they changed it when they went and they started winning in like the 2010s with Joey Bautista. Watch what they do. If they're good again, watch for a logo rebrand. And that's going to prove my point.
One quick one. Had brought this up in the office yesterday to Jesse, at least. Wanted to bring it to you, Tausch. I have a little bit of a Brewers hot take. I think the Barrel Man mascot.
Pat Murphy should get fired?
No, I'm not an idiot.
Nobody'd be that stupid.
Never said that.
Nobody'd be that dumb.
But I think the Barrel Man mascot is a better mascot than Bernie the Brewer.
All right. So first of all,
explain.
It's not Bernie the Brewer. It's Bernie Brewer.
Whatever.
That's his name.
Again, why Barrel Man is better. I think he's just a cooler look. It's more unique. And I think he is a better mascot and should be the primary mascot for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Terrible.
Oh. Jesse, what do you think?
Bernie Brewer has history in being a real person who sat up there until the Brewers ended a losing streak, and then he slid down from the roof of Old County Stadium. That's where Bernie Brewer was born. Bernie Brewer, I thought this
Barrel Man's better.
Yeah, and you know what? Thanks to watching the game on TBS last night, I have a great take for you. When Sal Frelick hit his home run, TBS instantly panned over to Bernie Brewer going down the slide. There is no other team in Major League Baseball that has a home run tradition built in to their stadium as cool.
Barrelman could go down the slide.
Cool. No, Bernie Brewer going down the slide. He get up with the yellow mustache,
They'd be rolling out
waving
the barrel.
flag. No, it is iconic. Bernie Brewer going down the slide. And when he does that someday, when we end up winning a World Series, that's going to be an image that will last forever. Bernie Brewer is the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Bob Uecker is the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah. Bernie Brewer's up there, though. He's top 5.
Barrelman rolling out the barrel on a home run would work, too.
I normally am not like super intrigued by mascots. Like, it's just not.
I'm over.
I love in-game features. I think
here with Tausch.
I think bringing fans enjoyment during downtime is good. And I always see Barrelman floating around in that first concourse. He's meeting fans. He's got a bobblehead. I'm sure Bernie does too. And in Hunter's defense here, how do you make beer?
In a barrel.
It is the Brewers, right?
Yeah.
In a barrel, right? And you smoke. You could do all kinds of different things, but you preserve it in a barrel. This team is built on brewing beer. That is the name of their team, the Brewers. I don't know if Bernie, is he out in his garage making a concoction of some fun beer? I don't know.
Yeah,
if he is,
that's what he does up in the chalets. He's always brewing stuff up there. Yeah.
Is he rolling out barrels? Because you have a half barrel, you got a quarter barrel. I get where Hunter is coming from on this. I do.
Barrelman is in a good spot. He is the vice president to Bernie Brewer's president. And that is a perfectly fine spot for Barrelman to live.
He's Spiro Agnew.
He never has to become the man. He can be the guy behind the guy. Yes, Barrelman is the Spiro Agnew of Bernie Brewer's presidency. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad we landed in a good spot there.
Whoa, Nelly!
I'm out of time, so that's all I've got for
you
guys.
That's it for Whoa Hunter. We will wrap up the show. Take a look at our poll returns, as those of you who are heading over to American Family Field hope to see a Brewers sweep of the LA Dodgers this afternoon. We'll check the poll returns on The Miz. Coming up next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
I would just say that right now I think all options are on the table. I think that they went through that trade thing and they talked to teams, and it's not like those talks are shut down.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
But they didn't go anywhere. And when they don't go anywhere, it opens up the possibility they could be back.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC. Is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain not getting any better? Maybe you're stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now talking about surgery. Well, before you head down that road, you need to check out my friends at QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about how QC Kinetics is revolutionizing medicine with their regenerative and cellular treatments. Using their advanced cellular therapy, QC Kinetics is helping your body heal itself. And don't just take my word for it. The results from their patients is off the charts. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. In fact, most people that come in for their free consultation ask if they can just start right away. It doesn't cost a thing for that second opinion with QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to live a pain-free life, and you owe it to yourself to check out QC Kinetics. The results could be life-changing. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
According to American writer H.L. Mencken, a well-stocked bar can create over 17 billion different cocktails. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. I don't know if 17 billion is accurate or not, but I do know that Discount Liquor is the place to find everything you need to be well-stocked for any occasion. Discount Liquor is Wisconsin's home to over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines. Our unparalleled selection is rivaled only by our incredible savings and everyday low prices. And we know how to take care of our customers, no matter the occasion. In fact, Discount Liquor has won numerous national and local awards. Visit Discount Liquor at our Milwaukee or Waukesha locations. Family owned and operated since 1960.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. Check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their pull tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins pull tab with a sub or sub-inable purchase for a chance to win Cousins Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pull tabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Pleasant Prairie gets the final word on the ESPN Wisconsin Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line today. Barrelman not better than Bernie Brewer. His frown is scary to the little kids.
Most
Kevin.
mascots are scary to little kids.
There was a story where I went to college at Bradley in Peoria, Illinois. They had the Peoria Rivermen, and they had this big captain of a boat who was their original mascot, and the kids would all go up and they'd still run away in tears, and it took them a year before they realized they had to go to this big funny blue bear looking guy to be their new mascot, because that was more welcoming because he's warm and fuzzy for the kids to go up and give a hug to and take pictures with. So Barrelman could be a little scary. He's like he's for the older kids. The younger kids love Bernie Brewer. The older kids can like Barrelman. It's okay. Barrelman knows his place. He's number 2 to Bernie. As long as everybody knows that, we're good.
Nah, I want Barrelman.
That's the final thing Hunter Vaughn will say, filling in as our cousin sub of the day, producing this week. Riley Yauk takes us the rest of the way. Tomorrow, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, Brookfield Experience Center. Stop on out. We'll be there 9 to noon. All of ESPN Wisconsin and our Milwaukee stations will be there from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tausch, we riding together tomorrow, or are you on your own?
We'll have to figure that out. We'll figure that piece of it out, but I would probably say no.
Can't wait to report back. Plus, Jason Wilde returns tomorrow at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield. We will see you there at 9 a.m. tomorrow. As Jason always says, have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee just got hotter. Announcing the buys of summer at Ewald Automotive Group. Get the lowest prices guaranteed on new vehicles. We'll beat your best price by $500, or we'll pay you $500 cash. Guaranteed. With over 1,500 vehicles to choose, you're sure to find the perfect ride for your family. 11 brands, 10 locations, one easy experience. Don't miss Ewald's Buys of Summer sales event going on now.
Go to ewaldauto.com.
See dealer for details. Expires month end.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
Workplace stress is now a leading cause of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce feeling it more than ever. You can't escape work, but you can take small steps to take care of yourself. A walk, some sun, a favorite song, and therapy. Ongoing support to build resilience for whatever your day throws at you. Balance is tough, but getting help shouldn't be. Visit BetterHelp.com/timeout today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp,